Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Hare Bol. Done. Hare కూర్చో Prabhuji. Yeah. మీరు అచ్చా Prabhuji, లోపల ఆఫీస్ నేను లోపల ఆఫీస్ చైర్ ఉంది చైర్ తీసుకోండి ఇక్కడ Yeah, just go inside. Office chair no. Yeah, just pull the chair out. ఇక్కడ చైర్ ఉంటుంది. No, office chair యావండి. లేకపోతే ఆ చైర్ ఏంటి? नहीं है Prabhuji, है चेयर. You all can see from back. Or you can see from back. Mati, you can see from back. You can read. Okay, great. Thank you all for coming. We'll do some kirtans. Hare Krishna. And then श्री राधा गोपी वल्लभ की जय, श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा माई की जय, श्री निताई गौरंग भगवान की जय, श्री लक्ष्मी नरसिंह स्वामी प्रहलाद महाराज की जय, श्री प्रभुपाद की जय, श्री गुरुदेव की जय, निताई गौर हरि प्रेमानंद जय। राधा कृष्ण Gada Kishore Krishna Radha Krishna Prana Mora Jugala Kishore Radha Krishna Jivane Marane Gati Arunahi Mora जीवने मराने गति अरुणाहि मोरा Radha Krishna Panamora Sugala Kishore Radha Krishna गतियामलाति मला विबोधोहर गतियामलाति मला विबोधोहर Did I? Can you call Krishna? Now go to the gate and tell them that we're continuously getting calls. Yes. So this is a beautiful bhajan written by Narottam Das Thakur. Narottam Das Thakur is a pure devotee who appeared from the spiritual world and actually is somewhere in Bangladesh, right? And he was predicted, his appearance was predicted by Supreme Lord himself. So he has written many bhajans. This is one of the bhajans. Hare Krishna. Yeah. So in this bhajan, he writes about the mood of a devotee, when he meets the Supreme Lord. What happens when we all meet the Supreme Lord, right? How are we prepared to greet them? How are we prepared to deal with them? For example, Radha and Krishna have just entered here. What will you do? Right? What are you supposed to do? Right? So here is a beautiful prayer where he meditates on and he shares with us what we are supposed to do. First, he says the divine couple, Shri Radha and Krishna, are my life and soul. In death, or in life or in death, I have no refuge except them. Right? So we should tell them that except both of you, there is no other refuge for us. Right? We are totally dependent on you. And then he explains how he greets the Supreme Lord. He says, in a forest of small Kadamba trees on the bank of Yamuna, I will seat the divine couple on a throne made of brilliant jewels. So the best place in the house where you want them to sit, you should make it ready. Right? So the best place for us. For him, the best place is on the banks of Yamuna, right? On a golden place made of jewels. Next, he's saying, I will anoint their dark and fair forms with sandalwood paste scented with chuya, and I will fan them with a chamara whisk. Oh, when will I behold their moon-like faces? So who is the dark and who is the fair form here? Krishna is dark and Radharani is golden, fair form. So he's saying that I will send them with, paste scented with chuya, sandalwood paste, and then, I will fan them with a chamara whisk. And you know what is a chamara whisk, right? You can see there in the altar. Yeah, there is a whisk that we use. Oh, when will I behold their moon-like faces? And then he continues. After stringing together garlands of malati flowers, I will place them around their necks and I offer tambula and scented with camphor to their lotus mouths. Right? So he's saying he's going to make a garland, right? Made of nice, beautiful malati flowers. We won't find malati flowers here. So maybe some roses we have to keep it ready. And then he's going to offer tambula. 1 second, please. Hello? Hare Krishna. ఉన్న రోజు మేము ఇప్పుడు 3 సార్లు చెప్పాం వాళ్ళకు గేట్ వాళ్ళకు అయినా సరే లైన్గా మెసేజ్ పంపిస్తున్నారు. మా అబ్బాయిని మళ్ళీ పంపించాను నేను చెప్పండి. యా షూర్. యా సారీ. హరే కృష్ణ. Yeah. So here it's telling that he's going to put them a garland, right? And then the most important is the 5th one. Is with the permission of all the Sakhis headed by Lalita and Vishakha, I will serve the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna. So just because God is here doesn't mean that we immediately start serving them. He's going to take permission of Lalita and Vishakha because they are the primary servants of Srimati Radharani and they serve Lord Krishna. Right? So we should always take shelter of Guru. We should always take shelter of the associates of Supreme Lord before we start serving. So he's setting the mood for us. And finally he says, Narottama Dasa, the servant of Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, longs for the service of the divine. Right? So he is saying that I want this service forever. So basically, we all have learned today through this bhajan what to do if God comes. Right? First thing first, what we are supposed to do? Give them a seat. Right? It should be the best seat in the house. And then give some, forest, what is that? Give some chandan sandalwood paste. So it's good to have some sandalwood in the house. Why do we keep sandalwood? It cools you down. Right? Nice cooling. Yeah. And then you need to have a whisk, chamara whisk. So after the satsang, go to the shop and buy that. You have it in the house, right? And then you're going to string a garland yourself if you have flowers. So the best garland that you can make for Radha and Krishna. And then you should have some sweet in the house. If you don't have karpura and tambula, you can have something else, okay, nicely made for them. And then you should ask permission to Lalita and Vishakha, right? And then we should serve Shri Radha Krishna in the mood of the servant of the servant of the servant. So it's a beautiful bhajan which actually tells us how to invite Lord in our house. So Radha Krishna Prana Mora Jugala Kishore. Meaning there is no other refuge except Radha and Krishna. Let's sing one more bhajan. Yeah, so this is also a beautiful bhajan written glorifying acharyas. See, whatever bhakti we are receiving because of the great acharyas. They have written such nice commentaries, they have given so much knowledge to us. And they have Krishna, we don't have Krishna. They have Krishna. So they give Krishna, we'll get Krishna. So this bhajan is about glorifying the Vaishnava acharyas. Oh, Vaishnava Thakur, Hare Krishna Prabhuji, please come, please come. Hare Krishna. Oh, you can come in the front, you can come here. Aye Mataji, Hare Krishna. Yes. So, in this bhajan, we are glorious. First we'll read the translation, then we'll sing the bhajan. That way we'll appreciate what is there in the bhajan. Yes. O vulnerable Vaishnava, devotee of Krishna, O ocean of mercy, be merciful unto your servant. Give me the shade of your lotus feet and purify me. I hold on to your lotus feet. O Vaishnava Thakur, Doyora Sagara, Edase Koruna Kori, Diya Pada Chaya, Sodohe Emaya, Tomara Charana Dhori. Right? That's what it means. So please give me shelter. You're asking Guru to give you shelter so that through that you can access Krishna. Yeah. Next. Chaya Bega Domi, Chaya Dosa Sodi, Chaya Guna Deho Dase, Chaya Satsanga, Deho Hi Amare, Boshachi Sangera Ashe. He's saying, teach me to control my 6 passions, rectify my 6 faults, bestow upon me the 6 qualities, and offer unto me the 6 kinds of holy association. So the detail is there in another scripture, what the 6 are basically saying. Remove my passion, increase my passion towards you, remove my faults, remove the anarthas, and give me the right qualities through which I can approach you and I can get your holy association. Ekaki Amara Nahi Paya Bala Harinama Sankirtane Tumi Kripa Kori Shraddha Bindu Diya Deho Krishna Nama Dhane. It means I do not find the strength to carry on alone the Sankirtan of the holy name of Hari. Please bless me by giving me just 1 drop of faith with which to obtain the great treasure of the holy name of Krishna. So you're begging here, if you see, right? I do not have any taste for satsang. I don't have any taste for kirtan. I don't have any taste for chanting. Please give me that, right? So please bless me by giving me 1 drop of faith with which to obtain the great treasure of the holy name of Krishna. Hare Krishna. Yeah. Then at the end he's chanting, Krishna said Tomara, Krishna dite paro, Tomara shakati ache, Ami to Pingala, Krishna boli, Dai tava pache pache. Right? So here it's saying Krishna is yours, right? Krishna is yours. You have the power to give him to me. And simply your servant running behind you shouting, Krishna, Krishna. Right? So this is the mood in which we should glorify the Vaishnava Acharyas. Please, Samrita will serve. Can you come and play the mridangam? Hare Krishna. Very well. So please enthusiastically sing the bhajan. Right? So with this, we are actually collectively praying to the whole sampradaya, whole parampara, that we should get Krishna's access. Krishna said, Tomara, Krishna dite paro, Tomara shakati ache, Ami to Pingala, Krishna boli, Dai tava pache pache. How many here understand Bengali? Hare Krishna. Nobody understands Bengali? You know Bengali? Some words. Huh? Thoda. So actually the words in Bengali are very familiar, like Krishna say Tomara. Right? Tomara means Tumhara in Hindi. Krishna dite paro. Krishna mujhe do. Tomara shakati ache. Ami to Kangala. Kangala to everybody understands. Krishna, Kangala is in all languages Kangala only. So, Krishna boli, dai tava pache. Let us sing this. O he Vaishnava Thakura, Doyara Sagara, Ida se Koruna Kuri, O he Vaishnava Thakura, Doyara Sagara, Ida se Koruna. Ohe Vaishnava Thakura, Doyara Sagara, Edase Koruna Kori. Ohe Vaishnava Thakura, Doyara Sagara, Edase Koruna Kori. Diya Pagachaya, Sodahe Amaya. Pagachaya Sodahe Amaya Tomara Charana Kori Tomara Charana Kori Vaishnava Thakura, Doyara Sagara, Edase Koruna Kori. Chaya Begadomi, Chaya Dosasodi. Chaya Begadomi, Chaya Dosasodi. Chaya Guna Deho Dhate. Chaya Guna Deho Dhate. Jaya Satsanga Deho hi amare. Jaya Satsanga Deho hi amare. Bhakti Sangera Ate. Bhakti Sangera Ate. Ohe Vaishnava Thakura, Doyara Sagara, Edase Koruna Kori. Ohe Saki Amara nahi kaya bala. Saki Amara nahi kaya bala. Hari Nama Sankirtane. Hari Nama Koi Bindu Diya
তুমি কৃপা করি জগবিন্দু দিয়া দেহ কৃষ্ণ নাম গানে দেহ কৃষ্ণ নাম গানে ওহে বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর দয়ারা সাগর এদাতে করুণা করি ওহে বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর দয়ারা कृष्ण से तुम्हारा कृष्ण दीते पारो कृष्ण से तुम्हारा कृष्ण दीते पारो तुम्हारा सकती आते तुम्हारा सकती आते हमें तो कंगाला कृष्ण कृष्ण बोली हमें तो कंगाला कृष्ण कृष्ण बोली गई कब पाछे पाछे गई कब पाछे पाछे ओहे वैष्णव ठाकुर दयारा सागर हृदय करुणा कोरी ओहे छाया सदहे आमाया दिया छाया सदहे आमाया तुम्हारा चरण छोड़ी तुम्हारा चरण छोड़ी ओहे वैष्णव ठाकुर दयारा सागर एदाते करुणा कोरी ओहे वैष्णव ठाकुर दयारा सागर एदाते करुणा कोरी हरे कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम हरे राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे राम
So this is a mood. This is a mood of getting spiritual knowledge by approaching a Vaishnava Thakur and asking him the mercy that we want to understand Krishna. Right? Because without the mercy of the Acharyas, we cannot understand Krishna. Krishna is as much accessible as he looks like here, and it is equally difficult to understand him as he looks like here. Right? So that's the Supreme Lord. So we'll start today's discussion.
ॐ शान्तिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगना ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचना गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्णा चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भगवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवती नैष्ठिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। नमः पंकजनाभाय नमः पंकजमालिने नमः पंकजनेत्राय नमस्ते पंकजांग्रये। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते। कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामिने गौरत्विषे नमः। नमो ब्राह्मण्याय देवाय गौ ब्राह्मणाहिताय च जगद्दिताय कृष्णाय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। नमः ओम विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी निति नामिने। Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pasyatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Kum karoti vachalam pangam langayate kirimit kripatamaham mande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Shri Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Om Pavitro va Sarvavastam Gatopi va Yasmaret Pundari Kaksha Sabhya Bhyantaram Suche Shri Vishnu Shri Vishnu Hare Krishna. So in Kartik Yatras, in Kartik month we go on Yatras. So there, normally I go to my guru, who is always Radhanath Swami Maharaj. Because there are many gurus in ISKCON who take their disciples on Yatras. So when the Yatra happens, you have this big pandal, and everybody wants to sit very close to, Guru Maharaj, and very much close to the desert. Sometimes you are literally sitting like 300 meters away, and you can literally see, Guru like this much inside, right? So you want to go and sit in the front. So a lot of them in the pandal, they don't even go to the rooms; they sleep there only, because they don't want to lose that seat. And then the best part is, it is whole packed, right? I mean, literally everybody are sitting like 1 inch close, 1 inch, not even 1 inch sometimes. You can't move your leg for 3 hours. It's like this only. So somebody sitting right there. And then comes a transcendental devotee. He comes from behind. He, goes around the devotees. He comes and sits in between. And automatically the whole thing, expands, and there is a room for him also. Right? And we feel that, oh my God, this is totally packed. Now where do we do? And everybody looks at the devotee, be merciful. There was little space to move a finger. That also is gone now. Then he looks at you and he says, my friend is coming. And he also comes, and somehow he stands there, and there is only 6 by 6 inch place there. 1 feet you can keep, and he sits there. And automatically everything expands. Right? So in Krishna's Hare Krishna, so in Krishna's land, everything expands. How we are going to have 110 people here, I don't know. Just a matter of time, some devotee will come and sit in front of you. If you have left 1 inch space there, I'm telling you now. So my humble request is, everybody please come front, right? Don't leave any space between you and the next person, because otherwise, they will come till the door and they'll feel everything is filled. But there is a lot of space here. 50 people can sit in this area, according to the Kartik standards. More. Or more. 50 more than this. Yeah. So please come close, and Matajis can even come here, this area. Actually, when we bought this house, we even budgeted this place for sitting. That is the reason, we are okay with 100 also. In that kitchen area, almost 40 people can sit, I think. Am I right? Yes. Yeah. Satsang brings all of us close. Yeah. You can keep the mridanga here close. This side somewhere. Or you can give it to me. I'll keep it here. We don't need it. Yeah. That's okay. Yeah. So please come in the front, is my humble request. Because many more will come, they'll find some space. Yeah. Very well. Yeah, volume and chala. Okay. And then I'll take it.
Last place expanding.
I'll take it. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. It's better. Hare Krishna. And then Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Yeah. Hare Krishna. Is it better? You can hear Mataji in the back? Okay, Hare Krishna. So we were discussing about
That's okay. It's audible.
Hare Krishna. Am I audible, Mataji? Yeah. Yeah. So we were discussing about devotional service, the chapter 12, if you all can remember last week, right? And we discussed there are 3 parts, actually 4 parts in this chapter. The first part is about Lord Krishna explaining about his personal aspect rather than the impersonal, which we discussed in, I think, in Praveen Prabhu's house, like a couple of weeks back, right? So why and what he prefers, personal worship or impersonal worship, right? So personal worship. So he very specifically told that if you go by the impersonal path, you will not be satisfied. It's better you worship me personally, as a person, not as a tube light, not as a bulb. Right? We don't want to get into that. I also give a lot of examples how we should worship personally, the Supreme Lord, right? Like I told about one allegoric example I gave is you want your father or father's properties, right? Father, right? Like that. And there is one advantage and disadvantage of open kitchen. You get some nice fragrance which distracts you also. And some sound makes you wonder what is cooking there. Anyway, Hare Krishna. So, and the next thing that we discussed is after personal, impersonal. Last week we discussed about what does he, if you all can remember, I'll take you there directly. Yeah. Yes. So then he says, how his devotee should approach him. Once he knows that he has to worship me personally, how is he supposed to worship me? So here in 6 and 7 shloka, which we discussed last week, Lord Krishna says, but those who worship me, giving up all their activities onto me and being devoted to me without deviation, engaged in devotional service and always meditating upon me, having fixed their minds upon me, O son of Pritha, for them I am a swift deliverer from the ocean of birth and death. Right? So he kept so many conditions here. What did he say? For those who worship me, giving up all their activities upon me and being devoted to me without deviation, engaged in devotional service and always meditating upon me and having fixed their minds upon me, O son of Pritha, for them I am a swift deliverer from the ocean of birth and death. So he's saying complete surrender. Lord Krishna is speaking of complete surrender at this place, right? All your activities, your mind, your thoughts, your prayers, everything is only towards me, towards him. Very, very personally he's saying. Now the second part of the section is about Krishna explains that what if you cannot completely surrender to me? How much can you surrender? In what ways I'll still accept you? That is the second part, right? From today we'll try to finish that. From 8 shloka to around 12 shloka, 13 shloka. It's all about if you cannot do this, at least do this much. So I told like discount policy, right? Last week. So we're going to get too many discounts today, right? So, and then the third section is my favorite section. There he says, who is most dear to me? Right? Who is most dear to me? There he specifically tells these are the devotees with these qualities are most dear to me. Because a lot of people don't know what I am doing, does God really like? we actually assume that God likes it. I think I'm doing my best. Krishna, you better like it. And we also don't know whether what we're doing is right or wrong. Most of us don't even have a guru. Right? So, and a lot of people outside they never read Shastra also. So if somebody wants to know what they're doing is good, how they're leading their life is good or bad, they can simply read 12th chapter, 3rd section. They will get to know whether what they're doing is good. So which we'll try to do maybe next week. But this week, if time permits, we'll also get into that. But this week we'll more focus on different levels of devotion. Right? Different levels. How Krishna is accepting us. So we are getting into the next shloka here. Yeah. Progressive stages of devotion is from 12.8 to 12.12. Yeah. Please repeat after me. Mai eva mana adhat swa. Mai eva mana adhat swa. Mai buddhim niveshaya. Mai buddhim niveshaya. Nivashishyasi mai eva. Nivashishyasi mai eva. Ata urdhvam na samshaya. Ata urdhvam na samshaya. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Please repeat after me. Just fix your mind upon me. Just fix your mind upon me. The Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Supreme Personality of Godhead. And engage all your intelligence in me. Thus you will live in me always. Without a doubt. Right? So here Lord Krishna is saying, just fix your mind upon me, which is the most difficult thing to do. His mind is everywhere, running around. The Supreme Person, he's telling about himself, me, right? My, he's very, very clear. My upon me, meaning of Sanskrit, my means upon me, not upon somebody. Some people who translate Bhagavad Gita, they take my and they say, on that impersonal, fix your mind. Like that they'll write. Did he say on that impersonal? Did he say my or did he say Brahman? He said my. Right? Very, very clearly saying, fix your mind upon me. I am Krishna. I am a person. And I am the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And engage your intelligence in me. Right? What does it mean when he says engage your intelligence in me? Make your decisions in such a way that they are favorable for your devotional life. Right? Of course, he only gives the intelligence. Dadami buddhi yogantam. He gives that buddhi through which we can understand, we can approach him. Right? But at the same time, we should have the desire also. We should have the desire also that I want to apply my intelligence. Right? And he gives that intelligence. Thus you will live in me always. Meaning you're always with me. You are in union with me. When you do these two things, only two things he's saying. What is he saying? Apply your mind, apply your intelligence. Right? And without a doubt, you will be with me if you do these two things. Now, these two things sound to be very easy. Right? Apply your mind and apply your intelligence seems to be very easy, but they are the most difficult ones. Yeah. Right? There is another shloka in Bhagavad Gita. Man manabhat matbhakto madhyajimam namaskuru. Right? So there he says, man manabhava matbhakto, meaning apply your mind again. Completely put your mind onto me. There Krishna is talking about, there is one level of bhakti called Raganuga Bhakti. Meaning where spontaneously you are attracted to Krishna. You don't have to put any special effort. For example, when you go to your home, you can come in the front. Just come in the front. So that, this whole place is empty here. Yeah. So here is saying that, in that shloka is saying, Man manabhav mat bhakto. He is saying, apply your mind onto me. And there he's talking about Raganuga Bhakti. Yeah, I was talking about Raganuga Bhakti. So Raganuga Bhakti means what? If you go to your home, to your mother's home, right? You go to meet your mother. Does she need to put an effort to develop love towards you? Mera beta ghar aaya, please, that love has to come. My son's love, it has to come. Does she do all that? No. As soon as she sees you, the love just pours out of her, isn't it? You go to your grandmom's home, right? That's double the love. Because grandchildren are more dear than her own children, isn't it? She becomes even more spontaneous love. When Krishna goes to Yashoda, the love that Yashoda shows is spontaneous love. Are you all understanding what is Raganuga Bhakti? Raganuga Bhakti means you don't have to put any effort. The moment you look at that person, immediately you fall in love. So that is the highest stage of devotion, Raganuga Bhakti. Which is what Krishna says when he says, Man manava mat bhakto. Meaning, your complete mind is engrossed in me. Now Krishna understands that not everybody will be in that situation. So next comes Vaidhi Bhakti. Madhyaji mam namaskuru. Madhyaji mam is okay. At least practice to put your mind. That is Vaidhi Bhakti. Vaidhi Bhakti means I have to chant my 16 rounds. I have to attend satsangs. I have to spend time with devotees. I have to read scriptures. I have to learn. I have to practice devotional life. And then some attraction might come if Krishna gives. So we are all Vaidhi Bhakti followers, whatever who are here. We are not Raganuga Bhakti followers. You go in front of God and suddenly you start tears coming out. Don't think it's love. Some small insect might have gone. That is not devotion. Don't even think about it. Or you got so much tired that you're getting tears now. That's all. We are all Vaidhi Bhakti followers, right? So we have to know. Now Krishna, it's not that he's going to say no to Vaidhi Bhakti followers. He's saying that is also acceptable to me. That is also acceptable. And if you can't follow that, Madhyajima namaskuru. He's saying at least pay obeisances to me. At least put your head on the floor and pay obeisances. That is the least. That is the least he's expecting. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. When you come to a temple, when you go to a temple, we bow down in front of the temple, right? Now here we have deities, Now it's difficult to bow down, everybody's there, but if you have a chance, you should bow down. But it so happens that we bow down, and we bow down, and one day we're only bowing down. There is no devotion in that. Right? It becomes like a ritual. They gone to a temple, bow down. If you don't bow down, I don't know what will happen, but better bow down. And after some time you bow down, you don't know what you're doing bowing down. One devotee got so tired during Mangalarti, he bowed down and never got up only. They went and checked, he was sleeping. Nicely started snoring also. Poor fellow didn't sleep in the night, He became so relaxed going down that he slept. Now what are we supposed to do when we bow down? We're supposed to chant some mantras. We are supposed to chant some mantras. What are the mantras we chant? We chant Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Namine Namaste Saraswat Deve Gauravani Pucharne Nirvishesh Shunyavadi Pasyatya Deshatarne Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. You're supposed to go down and chant these mantras. And not just chanting the mantras, but we should also take shelter of those mantras. What are these mantras saying? They're saying, Ye Bhakti Vedanta Swami, you have access to Krishna. Please give me that access. Ye Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, you are the most merciful. You gave access to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Please give us that access. Right? I bow down in front of you. Kulashekar Alvar, in his Mukunda Mala Stotra, he says that the head which bows down is actually the perfect head on the planet. Right? Which touches the floor and which has the dust on the forehead. Of course, these days we have all ceramic flooring and where is the dust? Right? But in those days he writes that the dust on the head of a devotee is alankarana. That is actually the most beautiful thing. He says the mouth that chants Krishna's name is the most perfect mouth, perfect tongue. Right? The eyes that see the Supreme Lord are the most perfect eyes. We are very eager to see the Supreme Lord. Right? The ears which hear the glories of the Supreme Lord are the most perfect ears. Right? So, Kulashekar Alvar is saying how we have to use our senses. And what are the most perfect senses, right? What is that prayer? Namah Pankaja Nabhaya, Namah Pankaja Maline, Namah Pankaja Netraya, Namaste Pankaja Angre. Everything is lotus, lotus, lotus. Your eyes are lotus, your lips are lotus, your navel is lotus, your feet are lotus. Right? In fact, in Bhagavatam, when Vamandev lifts his leg and he makes a hole in the universe, it is told the lotus feet has made a hole. Right? So his feet also is compared as lotus. And from the lotus of his feet, Ganga comes down. Right? Ganges comes down from his lotus feet, from the spiritual world. So Ganga comes from the lotus of the Supreme Lord's feet. And in Chaitanya Charitamrita, when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is crying in ecstasy, there Acharyas explain that at that time tears came from the lotus feet, now tears are coming from the lotus eyes. Right? And let us bow down to that Supreme Lord from where this love is coming, the tears are coming, the Ganges is coming. Right? So it should be a natural instinct for us to bow down. And Krishna is telling that we should bow down. Many places he says. What is another place? Recently we read that verse. Namas. The third line. What is the first line of the verse? Satatam kirtayanto mam. Satatam kirtayanto mam. Yatantascha dridavrata. Namasyantascha mam bhaktya. He says, please bow down to me. Please bow down to me. Krishna is telling us that bowing down to God is also a process. It's also a process. And in our sampradaya, in devotion, bowing down is a glorifiable thing. And when we bow down, we actually surrender to the Supreme. We should not feel shy. See, our ancestors bowed down. Now, next generation is doing like this. Next generation is doing like this. That I don't know what that this is. Very famous. Like this. On the vehicle also they can do. Right? That is the next level. And the next level is literally people are going to the temple looking at God like this. You'll bow down or should I bow down? They are shy to bow down also. Right? The stupid body, they're thinking, should I bow down? If somebody bows down, I don't know, people will look at me when I'm going down. Half the people keep thinking when they're going down, who is looking at me? Nobody is looking at you. Only God should look at you. That is the only hope you have. Nobody is looking at you. Isn't it? But unfortunately, because of lack of training and lack of understanding, we think going down also is an option. Or why should I even go down? We start with full Dandavat Pranam in the first 6 months of ISKCON. Then that becomes half Pranam in the next 6 months of ISKCON. Then we become advanced and just look at the God. Right? That's what happens. Devotion should increase day after day. Our surrender should increase day after day. But unfortunately, it keeps decreasing because that is our human nature. That is the familiarity that we get in devotion also. Right? We should look at how devotees have bowed down to the Supreme Lord. It's also part of the devotional process. It's explained that Raghunath Das Goswami used to bow down 10,000 times in a day, minimum. Whenever he would look at a Vaishnava in Jagannath Puri, he would immediately bow down. And the amazing part is Jagannath Puri only has Vaishnavas. So he's practically bowing down all the time. And every time he bows down, he even chants with same devotion. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyayacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Right? So these devotees are like desire fulfilling trees who will give me all the understanding to go to the Supreme Lord. Right? So fully devoted like that. They used to bow down. Now, even if you look at Gajendra in his prayers, Gajendra Mukta prayers, yeah, he also would bow down. What did Gajendra do at the end? So you can come. Whoever comes late, ask them to come in the front. Yeah. So anyway, I'm just kidding. Yeah. So the point is, my God, what is that fragrance? Haribol. Haribol, keep a lid on that thing. It's too fragrant. God should eat it. We are mentally already eating it. Hare Krishna. So Gajendra, it is explained that finally when he had no other thing to do. He was literally going down into the water. What did he do? He took a flower, a lotus flower, which was in that lake, and he pointed it to Lord Krishna. Right? And said, "This is my last offering to you. I'm dying. I'm gone." Right? And I'm showing you this flower. And the Supreme Lord is running and coming just to see his devotee who is so much in love with him and is offering those prayers. One great Acharya explains that Narayana had 4 hands. And what does he keep in his 4 hands? Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma. Padma means lotus. Right? So Shankha, Chakra, Gada. Shankha can be used in war. When he has to kill somebody or when you start a war or end a war, you blow a Shankha. Or before Aarti also you can blow a Shankha. Chakra is used in a war when you have to, kill the miscreants. Gada is also used in a war, right? But where do you use a lotus? Where does Krishna use a lotus? He is holding a Padma, lotus. Where does he use it? So the Acharya says, Acharyas have different realizations given by the Supreme Lord. The great Acharya in South India, I forgot his name. Right? So he says that Lord Vishnu, he looked at Gajendra's lotus that day and he decided that he is going to hold that lotus forever. In the 4th hand. And he's saying that I am going to hold this lotus forever because when my devotee gives me a flower, I will hold it forever. That is, you can't even imagine. Somebody gives you a gift and you say, I'm going to wear this shirt forever. Will you do that? First of all, you'll comment, right? I don't know. He doesn't even know my size. Right? In America, they ask for receipt when you give a gift. That is the Daurbhagya Parasthiti of that country. Right? Because if I don't like, I can return and get what I want. Nonsense is that gift has to be accepted. Right? And most of the gifts that people give are not the gifts they bought. They don't like that gift that when they got it, so they're giving it to you. The best question you can ask is, what is inside it? You tell, I'm sorry, I don't know. Somebody gave it to me, I'm giving it to you. That is not love. Right? But Gajendra's lotus was filled with love. When he took that lotus and showed to the Supreme Lord, he actually showed his complete surrender and love in that lotus. And Krishna told, I am going to hold that lotus in my 4th hand forever. And he's holding it even now. Right? And he's also telling us that any devotee who offers that patram pushpam phalam toya, yome bhakta pranashvasi, he is going to take that and he's going to keep it with him. Krishna keeps everything that we give. That is the greatness of God. We can't be like God because God is so merciful that if maybe you have forgotten how many times you have done Pushpabhishek. But would you believe that Krishna has all those petals that you have given to him, with him, even now? In those zillion petals that your petals have fallen, you don't even know where they are. But Krishna has separately kept your petals at a place. And he knows that you love him. That is God. Very difficult, right? So who wants to become God here? Nahi hoga. Very difficult. God is not great because he can kill 10 people at a time or he can do so many things at a time. God is great because he just gives everything that we want. And he appreciates everything that we give him. Ravana, he cut his 10 heads And then Lord Shiva became happy and gave Lanka. 10 times, kacha, 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 10 heads he had to cut. And then Lord Shiva thought, nonsense, I don't know why is he doing all this? Let me give Lanka. Take Lanka. You wanted a golden country? Here is the golden country. Take it. Vibhishana just bowed once in front of Ram and he gave Lanka. Take it. You can see the difference? Ravana 10 heads he had to remove. All Vibhishana had to do is just bow down in front of Ram. He said, you are my Supreme Lord. And immediately, you are the Lanka Naresh. Take care of Lanka. And Supreme Lord doesn't want anything from us. But when we bow down, that's a very, very important thing. We should not take it easily. Every time we bow down in front of God, it should be filled with love. It should not be. There is a great Acharya in Gaudiya Math, Puri Goswami Maharaj. He says, he's a god brother of Bhakti Swami Maharaj. So he says that if you bow down in front of the Lord without any prayer, that's equal to doing a gymnastic. Like a Surya Namaskara. Surya Namaskara also do the same thing, right? Go in the front, lift your head and all that you do. Same thing you are doing. There is no a bowing down without a prayer. So we should bow down with a prayer. So what is the highest thing that Krishna is telling here? Fix your mind upon me. Right? And if you can't do that, use your intelligence. Right? Use your intelligence. And if you can't do that, then he goes to the next prayers. But in this prayer, he's saying the highest. He's saying, fix your mind and fix your intelligence. And the following, he will also finally say, at least bow down. At least bow down. But at least bow down is also acceptable provided there is love. Provided there is love. You see some lot of masala is there. So you see that some devotees, they like to roll around the temple. Right? It's a very good thing. I have seen devotees, especially when you go to Tirupati, so putting tilak on each step, right? And actually doing very austere, very, very austere, that kind of works, right? We should look at them and appreciate them. We should look at them. We may not be able to do what they're doing. We should look at them and appreciate them. But the most important thing, while they're doing that, or you putting even one tilak and one deepam, is are you doing with devotion? Are you doing with devotion? Or is it something like a transaction? Yeah, Govardhan Parikrama also. They keep a stone and a small stone, and then they bow down to there, and from there they bow down. That's called Dandavat Parikrama. And there is another Parikrama where they stand at one place, 108 stones they keep. One after the 108 times they bow down, then go to that place and again do 108 times 108 stones. That takes more than 14 years. One Parikrama of Govardhan takes 14 years. And there are some people who do that also. There are some people who do that also. I mean, that's unbelievable surrender. You can't even think of that. But the most important factor in all these acts is what? Devotion. If you don't have devotion, then all these acts are mere transactions, just like Ravana's. How many of you are ready to cut off your head and give it to Krishna? I don't think that. I only have one head. Only one head, it's a problem. If I have 10 heads, I might think. So, just because you're cutting your head and giving doesn't mean that you're a devotee. Yes, just because you're cutting a head and giving doesn't mean that you're a devotee. It might be a transactional affair. So, we should not become judgmental looking at now people putting tilak or doing Dandavat Parikrama also. We should be appreciative that they are better than us. But when you are doing it, do it with devotion. Whatever you are doing. Then Krishna will accept it. Actually, devotion is the only thing he accepts. Everything else is not very important. Right? So, let's read the purport of Srila Prabhupada for this shloka. Please focus. Yeah. One who is engaged in Lord Krishna's devotional service lives in direct relationship with the Supreme Lord. So there is no doubt that his position is transcendental from the very beginning. A devotee, Hare Krishna, Hare Bol, Hare Krishna. Please settle down. There is some people talking in the background. I don't know. Yeah. Okay, I'll read again. So one who is engaged in Lord Krishna's devotional service lives in direct relationship with Supreme Lord. So there is no doubt that his position in transcendental from the very beginning. A devotee does not live on the material plane. He lives in Krishna. The holy name of the Lord and the Lord are non-different. Therefore, when a devotee chants Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, and his internal potency are dancing on the tongue of the devotee. When he offers Krishna food, Krishna directly accepts these eatables, and the devotee becomes Krishnaized by eating the remnants. One who does not engage in such service cannot understand how this is so, although this is a process recommended in the Bhagavad Gita and other Vedic literatures. Right? So here in the additional explanation, there is one second quote. Krishna is speaking 3 shlokas, beginning here with Mai to instruct Arjuna. Since Mai Bhakti is the topmost process, we should perform Bhakti. Thus, establishing the method of worship, Krishna is giving mandate and is the topmost instruction, the essence of Bhagavad Gita. Fix one's mind and senses upon the Supreme Lord. Right? So we should understand that when we are performing devotion, always thinking about Krishna, that is the highest. How many times in a day are we thinking about Krishna? How many times we are making our decisions which are favorable for Krishna consciousness? How many of you have planned all your might and all your energy to come here today evening? Yeah, you planned. That means you're Krishna conscious. As simple as that. It's not very difficult to say who is Krishna conscious, who is not. Somebody has so many obligations. It's not easy. Even Sunday evenings are not, Kaliga situation. Even Sunday evening is not available for a lot of people. Right? There are people who have to work on a Sunday for their survival also. And still they make sure that they go to the temple. I know some devotees, they work 7 days a week. 7 days a week. Not everybody is educated the way we are, and they have to work 7 days a week. If they don't work 7th day, then their pay is cut. Just imagine that devotee also takes a pay cut and comes to the temple. Tell me who is more dear to Krishna? That devotee, right? Even he takes a pay cut, right? Some people have severe health problems. Still they make sure that they come to satsang. Whatever, they have sciatica, they can't sit for too long, still they come. Right? Krishna sees that. Even in the most uncomfortable, even in the most difficult situation, when a devotee continues to practice devotional service, that is the most glorifiable thing. Because the devotee is always thinking about Krishna. He's always thinking about Krishna. There is nothing else in his mind. You are getting a promotion. Immediately the devotee is thinking, so by giving promotion, where are you going to send me? I know devotees who have rejected their promotion just to stay in that city. I know devotees who have not changed their house, even though the family has become, because the house is very close to the temple. I know devotees who have chosen to live in the city close because they don't want to go away from devotees. Right? They don't have any other priority. What is the use of that house in which devotees can't come? Right? So that is the thinking process. In fact, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Bhogaishwarya Prashaktana, Daya Apratyesam, Vyavasayatmika Buddhi, Samadhavana Vidiyate. He says, Bhoga and Aishwarya, meaning opulence and wealth and fame. When people they only become far from Krishna. I know one devotee, nice devotee, but something that he shared with me. So he was living in a small house in America. He used to organize satsangs, right? Many devotees used to come. House was filled. His wife was also favorable. She was not like a practicing devotee, but she is okay for her husband to continue. She told, I think our house is very small. We're getting too many people now. We need a bigger house. They said, okay, we'll go for a bigger. So he rented another bigger house. From a 1-bedroom, he went to 3-bedroom. Only for satsang. And then the 3-bedroom was filled with devotees. And then she said, I think we need an even bigger house. That fellow is like, I don't earn that much. What do I do? Then he said, okay, no, we'll try to go a little bigger house, whatever we'll find out. So he actually got a good increment or a good job or whatever. He started earning more. He even went for even bigger house. Now in the bigger house, there were very good interiors done. There were very expensive things kept. Now the wife started telling, I don't think we should have satsang in our house. Because my interiors will be spoiled. My sofa will have a problem. My wall will have a problem. Isn't it? Now you tell me, is that house a blessing or a curse? It's a curse. It's a snake hole, right? In which you keep your hand, immediately you get sting. In apartment, don't do that. Don't go and knock any door. Especially in community living, never do that. All snake holes in one building. You go and keep your hand inside, you'll get it. Right? So that is the situation. Right? Not only you'll get this, you'll also get a phone. You'll also get a phone from the community, president, that you are creating disturbance to your neighbors. Like that it is. Right? So that is unfortunately community living today. But anyway, the point is, are we making decisions to go towards Krishna or away from Krishna? Most important thing. That is where our intelligence has to be checked. What am I doing in life? Am I taking Krishna consciousness seriously? Am I increasing my surrender to God by each coming year? Am I increasing my satsang or decreasing my satsang? By changing this job, am I working for Vibhishana or Ravana? What am I doing? Am I becoming close? That is most important, Baba. You can die anytime. I keep repeating this. Some people don't like it, but you can die anytime. After your death, if somebody tells you are a director of Falana and Falana, does it make a difference? Have you seen anybody, being taken with his visiting card in the front? Who died? Oh, Vice President of Infosys died. What is that? Throw that fellow outside the house. Right? In America, one person died. He had a big villa, 7-bedroom villa. Don't target for that. 7-bedroom villa in a very expensive locality. And he showed that villa to his whole friend circle. This bedroom, this villa. And America is famous for big beds. I don't know what they do on that, but huge beds. Like 3 feet thick bed. Can you think of it? Mattress. 3 feet thick mattress. How many have seen anything like that? Yeah. So he bought this thick bed, and he showed to the whole world, see, I bought this from North Carolina. I imported it. It's come from here. It's come from there. He died. Unfortunately, he died. The first thing his wife told is, take that fellow out of that bedroom. Because the mattress will become contaminated. And where is that fellow put on? On a couch? On a sofa? On the floor. And which floor? Inside the house or outside the house? Outside the house. That is what we are really worth. Even if I die now, in the next 10 minutes if I die, you think I'll be kept in this house? No. Immediately, what is that? My gate app signal will go. One fellow died in 501, block 1. So Nikalo bar. Put that fellow in the cellar. Do you know that in community living, we can't keep a dead body in our own flat? And we are so proud of this flat. Even your dead body is not allowed to be kept after some time. Take it to the cellar. Keep it in the cellar. I was shocked when I heard that. In my home, Jewel, in Madinaguda, when I first came from US and I lived there, I don't know why I sometimes ask weird questions. I went and asked that. Where will you keep me when I die? Something like that. He said, sir, your parking lot is there. No? You got 2 parkings. So maximum 2 people can die in a day. Third fellow dies, he doesn't have space also. You have to go and ask your neighbor, parking lot is Sava. And if your parking lot is in B3, that's almost going to lower planets. With your dead body itself, isn't it? Totally dark. And people actually, just imagine, The flat is 2 crores and his life is, he is in that cellar, in the dark place. If there is no bulb, khatam. Nobody will come also. Because darkness, dead body, who will come? That is the situation. Right? So whatever opulence we have is useless. And if we have that opulence, we should utilize with intelligence in Krishna consciousness. That is what Krishna is saying. Please surrender your mind to me. Please surrender your intelligence to me. Right? That is the highest. Now, if we can't do that, then he goes to the next one. Ata chittam samadhantum. Ata chittam samadhantum. Na saknoshi mai sthiram. Na saknoshi mai sthiram. Abhyasa yogena tato. Abhyasa yogena tato. Mam ichhaptam dhanam jaya. Mam ichhaptam dhananjaya. Repeat after me. My dear Arjuna, O winner of wealth, if you cannot fix your mind upon me without deviation, then follow the regulative principles of Bhakti. In this way, develop a desire to attain me. Right? Now he's going, this is like 5% discount or 10% discount. 100% is give your mind and intelligence. Now Krishna is saying, you can't give your mind upon me, at least follow the regulative principles of Bhakti. Now regulative principles are not that no meat eating, no intoxication, no gambling, no, what is it? Illicit sex. Right? They're not just limited to that. It's also about following principles which are favorable for devotional service. Everything around it. Right? At least follow that. At least follow that. Let's read the purport of Prabhupada. Translation purport by Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivinoda Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Jai. In this verse, two different processes of Bhakti Yoga are indicated. The first applies to the one who has actually developed an attachment for Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by transcendental love. And the other is for one who has not developed an attachment for the Supreme Person, but transcendental love. For this second class, there are different prescribed rules and regulations one can follow to be ultimately elevated to the stage of attachment to Krishna. What does it mean? When you're spontaneously in love with Krishna, he actually doesn't care what time you're getting up, what mantra you're chanting, what you're wearing, how you are doing your devotion. It doesn't matter. Gajendra was not wearing dhoti kurta when he lifted that lotus. And Krishna didn't reject him because his mantra was not perfect. Right? He was absolutely in love with Krishna. Right? So, why the bhakti, or rather practicing devotion service, following the regulative principles, going to satsangs, wearing dhoti and kurta, which is a more difficult thing to do. Right? For some people, I don't know. After 4 or 5 years also, they are still thinking, aaj main dhoti pehnu ya na pehnu? Wear it. How much time does it take? Right? Why the bhakti also? We should not think how to follow. We should just follow it. Because that is a process. That is why the bhakti. Wearing a kurta, going in a nice devotional attire to a satsang is part of Vaidhi Bhakti. And we should follow that. Krishna is saying, at least follow that. By following that, you will develop devotional qualities. Very important. Because nature is very independent. Our nature is very independent. I want to do what I like to do. That is why we are in this place where you, whether like it or not, you have to be here only. But when you do what Krishna likes to do, then Krishna says, come back. Right? Now, for people who cannot surrender completely, then he says at least follow some rules and regulations. Right? Otherwise, you don't need to. Actually, devotees automatically follow the rules and regulations. They don't have to put any effort. Getting up 4:35 in the morning for a devotee is a normal thing. But for a person following Vaidhi Bhakti, that's an extraordinary endeavor. Isn't it? All the time chanting Lord's glories, Satatam Kirtayantoma. Very easy. Always, perpetually. He is completely chanting all the time. Very natural. You know what I'm saying? But for a non-devotee, it's a very, very big effort. How many rounds are left? What is this? Still 8. Since morning I'm chanting, only 8 rounds are over. What about the remaining 8 rounds? What should I do? It's a very big problem. But for a devotee, even if it is, I'll tell you one example. My Siksha Guru, once what happened, we were arranging for a program. And it so happened that we had to start the arrangement from morning 5 o'clock itself. Right? Because the devotees are coming, and so a full day program. Morning Bhagavatam, and then afternoon class, then evening class, then night class. Almost till 10 o'clock. So he couldn't chant his rounds. Before that night also we were discussing what we should do next day, and he couldn't chant. It just happened, he couldn't chant. And some of us, we somehow managed to chant in between. Took 5-10 minutes break, in between services, in between 15. But he was constantly running around and doing. Srinivas Acharya Prabhu, he was running around and doing. And at the end, almost at 11 o'clock, I went to him and said, Prabhuji, have you chanted your rounds? Because I have not seen you chanting your rounds. Because he was all the time. He said, no problem, Prabhu, I'll chant. Not a problem. Prabhuji, you're already tired. You're already tired. I can see that you're dozing off. And since we had a long day, when are you going to chant your rounds? I'm very worried. He said, Prabhu, what is there? I'll take my chanting bag and I sit down and chant. Now it's more peaceful. Everybody is gone, I'll sit and chant the rounds. That day I actually understood that he doesn't see it as a burden. He doesn't see it as an activity which is going to make him uncomfortable. Yeah, he has to do it. It's a vow. And he's okay to do even at that time. Not saying that you should target 11 o'clock. But whenever you are in that situation, you should see that as an activity of part of your life. It's not that, okay, Prabhu, itna late ho gaya. Ho gaya late, that's okay. Whenever it is, start chanting. Sometimes it's very difficult, that you chanting your rounds on time doesn't happen. But your enthusiasm to chant should not come down. That is what Vaidhi Bhakti does. What Vaidhi Bhakti does, it helps you understand how to be enthusiastic in devotion. With every single passing year, with every single passing month, what is that one extra thing I'm doing for Krishna, even if it makes me uncomfortable? That is tapasya. Right? Tapasya means to give up. Tapasya means to give up things which are unfavorable for bhakti. Right? Prabhu, I like to eat that in that hotel. Okay, you like to eat that in that hotel. Why don't you try making it at home, offer it to Krishna? So that's an austerity. That's an austerity. You have to make it and offer it to Krishna. Right? But by doing that, you are telling Krishna that, Krishna, I want to do something for you. I don't want anything in this world which is not related to you. Right? This is all part of Vaidhi Bhakti. Performing activities which are favorable for Krishna. Right? There's a lot of times, I see devotees or even practicing devotees, they're like, Prabhu, we don't eat onion and garlic. Prabhu, we don't eat meat, eggs and fish or anything like that. So, but not eating, that is not devotion. Bring it to Krishna. Your focus is more on prasadam rather than you trying to make sure that I'm not eating something. You're understanding what I'm saying? There is a big difference. I'm not eating that. Krishna, I'm telling you, I'm not eating that. Krishna, what the hell? You eat or not, that doesn't make a difference. Right? I'm not eating it, Krishna, because if you have not eaten, how can I eat? That is devotion. And by following these principles of 4 regulative principles, eventually we'll develop that emotion. Eventually. The moment prasadam plate comes in front of you, immediately, oh Krishna, without your blessing, how can I get this? Mahaprasade Govinde, Nama Brahmane Vaishnave. Swalpa Punya Vratan Rajan Visvaso Neva Jayate. Sharira Vidyajal, this horrible body. Jidendriya Trayakal, this Indriya, Jiva, is such a difficult thing to control. Jive Fele Vishe Sagare, Tara Madheju. Immediately that prayer should come. It should be spontaneous. It will become spontaneous when you actually remember Krishna at all times. Right? You should remember Krishna. Who is giving this food? Unfortunately, today I see Christians are holding their hands around the table and they're praying. But we have stopped doing that. We should do that. At dining table, whenever we sit down, and you don't have to hold hands, but at least hold your hands and pray and teach our children to pray. Right? That gratitude should be there. Where are we getting this food from? Please, even in satsangs, prasadam will come to you. But if you have not chanted the prayer together, you should chant it yourself. And if you don't know that prayer, learn that prayer. How much time does it take to learn a Kishore Kumar song? Hear it 20 times, finish. The other day I was singing, I think I told, right? I don't know. The other day I was driving my wife and my children and suddenly remembered Devanand song. See, that is a memory. Right? And I started humming that song. Slowly that song came out also. And then I sang the whole damn song, including all paragraphs. I was going, do I remember the next paragraph? And I immediately remembered the next paragraph also. And I finally concluded the song. Then, oh my God. I can't chant that song in Goloka. The song that I should chant in Goloka are different, given by Acharya's bhajan. Those bhajans I can't remember. But I want to remember a Devanand song, the old picture song. So we should understand what is our current state. How can I develop that love to remember what is important for me in bhakti? Right? How can I forget all that old memories and increase these new memories? Once I asked His Holiness Niranjan Swami Maharaj, very amazing sannyasi in ISKCON, His Holiness Niranjan Swami. So I asked him, Maharaj, when I am in satsang, I feel all devotional. As soon as I go out of satsang, everything comes back. Everything, all the interests, all the same materialistic things, the same desires, the same movies, the same serials. I don't know, everything comes back. How do I deal with this? He said, he looked at me, maybe, he felt I should tell the most simply understanding answer because this fellow will not understand. So he told me in very simple words, he told, Prabhu, you have 10 million cells of memory in your brain. Right now, Krishna is in 500. Right? 10 million cells mein 500 cells is filled with Krishna's memory. So increase that 500 to 1000 this year. And by next year, it is 10,000. And by next to next year, it is 1 million. By the end of your life, it is some million. Right? Then you will remember Krishna. What did he mean? He said that increase your devotional memories more and automatically your unnecessary memories in the mind will go over. You are replacing materialistic memory with devotional memory. Right? That is the devotion. That is called Vaidhi Bhakti process. Vaidhi Bhakti means following the regulative principles and remembering Krishna more and more and more and more. And go to places which will make you remember him more and more and more. Right? And wherever you are, whichever situation you are, try to remember Krishna and think about his greatness. Whatever any human being might have created, just think about Krishna. I heard, they're going to make a big park, some kind of big Krishna park in this area. It's going to come up maybe in another few years, where there'll be rides and roller coasters and I don't know. And they'll also have Krishna pastimes and Krishna's theme park, Krishna theme park, something like that. So somebody was saying, Prabhu, where is devotion in that? That's okay. What the hell? Let the park come, na? That's okay. If there is Krishna in that park, that is still better. Take it. You're going in a roller coaster towards Krishna. Some way you are becoming Krishna conscious. Right? Something is better than nothing. But Vaidhi Bhakti means everything you're trying to do for Krishna. Right? Following the 4 regulative principles. So what are the 4 regulative principles? No meat eating. No meat eating. Why? Actually, a lot of people have a problem. That Prabhuji, as soon as we come to devotion, you will tell no meat eating, no this, no that. Why? It's very simple. No? All these principles are based on a higher principle. No meat eating because the principle is daya. Daya. If you have other choices, why to eat? The other day in office, one person was arguing with me. Almost went into an argument. He was like, You people, why you don't have to eat meat? You are not eating meat. At least give your children. You want to practice devotion. You practice. Why are you imposing on your children? I said, Bhaiya, why don't you look at it like this? When you have an apple, when you have an apple, why do you want to kill some animal? You can eat that apple. If you have a choice, we are not living in a place where we don't have anything else to eat. Isn't it? So nicely eat what is favorable, rightly in front of you. The principle is daya. The principle is mercy. Right? So when we are practicing spiritual life, a principle like no meat eating helps you to connect with Krishna. Prabhupada says that anything which has life is part of Krishna. Anything which has life. Because it is soul. And soul is part of Krishna. It's part of his internal energy. We're all part of him. Right? So if you see a small ant is walking, even that ant is sacred because there is life inside it. And that life is Krishna. A dead ant doesn't have any meaning because it's just rotten energy there. Inferior part of the Supreme Lord. The superior part is the living entity who is inside that body. And that is worshipable. Isn't it? So when you remember these things by performing Vaidhi Bhakti, following a principle like not eating meat is very easy. It's very, very easy. Right? So, for some people, they have to go through some experience in life. They have to go through some experience in life to give up certain things like meat eating. Until then, they will not understand. Right? Krishna gives some special experience. I'll share my experience. Should I share my experience? Okay. So in our family, because we come from that part of the place where they eat anything moving. Except aeroplane, they eat everything. So what do? I'm born in such a place. Right? So for me, it was part of our meal, not as much as now. Now people are eating 3 times a day, 7 times a week. Earlier it was not like that. It was like once in a Sunday. Sunday was like the famous day for that. And a little and done. That is how it was. Now it's like horrible. So I was going to satsang. It was becoming uncomfortable for me that we still have that part in our home. I'm not able to get over it. Right? And I'll share because my wife is also here. She was part of witness to that. Right? Haribol? Anuradha? You remember that night in Boston? One day before I stopped eating meat? It's a crazy incident I'll just share. Yeah. So we had a satsang and in the house. Huh? We just started at that time. Yeah. So it so happened. It's a funny incident I'm just sharing that everybody left and we were sleeping and it was like a villa, first floor bedrooms. So in one bedroom, me and my wife, and other bedroom, my children. No, in the same bedroom, my children. And my mother-in-law was also there. She was visiting. So she was there in the other bedroom. So suddenly at night, around 1 o'clock, I think. We slept around 11 o'clock. I got up at 1 o'clock. My eyes just opened, like, ghost, just opened like this. And I actually felt, I can't explain that feeling to you all. I actually felt that at 2:30 I'm going to die. I'm going to die. 2:30 is the time. It was like a message that you are dead at 2:30. And I've opened my eyes, I'm looking here, I'm looking there. Right side, my wife is sleeping. Left side, my children are sleeping. Other room, my mother-in-law is sleeping. Everybody is sleeping except me. And by the way, I only have 1.5 hours. I actually got the thought. I don't know why. I mean, Krishna had to give some solid dose to me. Then only I'll change. We told that 2:30 you're going to die. And I said, maybe it's a thought. Let me just sleep. Then I, slept this side, slept that side. Then I looked at the watch. 15 minutes gone. Krishna, what is this? Am I really going to die? That means it's over. That means this body, me, my wife, and that too dying in this foreign country. What will happen? Then I'm thinking, and it's 2 o'clock. Half an hour left. What should I do? Then I woke up my wife. I woke up my wife. Yeah, no, get up. She said, what happened? I'm going to die. And she's like, forget it, just sleep, I have to get up in the morning, cook for the children, go to office, sleep. No, you're not understanding. I'm going to die. Don't you believe me? I'm going to die. And then she said, okay, tell me what is going on. She got up. Both are sitting on the bed. Children are sleeping. See, I'm going to die. I only have half an hour and the clock is ticking. Right? I must say that she was very, nice that she didn't laugh. She was just looking at me and looking at the clock saying, so you'll really die? I said, yeah, I'm going to die. And let me tell you, you all are laughing. I was sweating. It was literally a feeling that I'm going to die. I only have this much time. I don't know how the death will come. Heart attack. I don't know. Brain, whatever, right? And then, I was telling my wife, I don't know, I'm getting very scared. I'm going to die. So what should we do? She said, okay, you're going to disturb your children. So let's go down. So she said, we will go down. So from the first floor, we went down. We went into the hall. And I sat there, and there is another clock. Every room has a clock. What to do? Right? The clock is there, it's ticking, tick, 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 tick. So it's 2:15. I'm looking at my wife. I'm going to die. Another 15 minutes, I'm going to die. My wife is like, till then she's tolerant. I'm like, okay. But just imagine, somebody wakes you up and says, I'm going to die at 2:30, you have to sit with that fellow in the hall. So she's sitting at 2:20, 2:25. It's 5 minutes more. I'm like, I'm going to die. And literally, I had tears in my eyes, this very grave feeling that actually I'm going to die. Krishna gave that feeling to me. And then I looked at my wife and she told, okay, you died, no problem, I'll take care of the kids. Go. This was even more painful. I'll take care of the kids. You go, no problem. Don't have any difficult, death. Let it be smooth. I'll take care of the children. I'll take care of everything. No problem. You die. Then I was like, what is this? No feeling only. Another. So in that conversation between me and her, it already became 2:35. Then I looked at the clock. 2:35. Hey, Harima! I did not die. I did not die. Then immediately check my mobile also. Is that clock problem or the mobile? Every clock has to be correct. It was already 2:35. Then actually I took a sway of breath. My wife told, okay, but kya hoga? Yes. So she went and slept. So 2:40 in the midnight, I'm sitting in that hall and I'm thinking, what is death? Right? A very scary experience. I can't explain you. Some things can't be explained. I don't want you to experience what I experienced, but it was a clear, almost like a feeling of death, what death feels like. Then I started thinking that when somebody takes a knife and goes towards an animal to kill it, and it has this much time left, how it feels. How the moment of death feels. If it feels this much to me, to go away from my family, how does the animal feel? How does a bird feel? Right? That realization was needed for me. Otherwise, I would have never understood what does it mean to die? What does it mean? What difference it makes to us when we actually die? Right? So that I understood that. Maybe I didn't sleep. I took my japamala, I started chanting whatever little I can. And I was waiting for the sun to rise. Exactly at 5 o'clock, as soon as the sun rose, I ran to my Siksha Guru's house, which is right across the street. Just imagine, he also just woke up. And I'm ringing the bell. And Prabhuji opens. Yes, Prabhuji, what happened, Prabhuji? Prabhuji, I stopped eating meat. I've understood everything. I said, okay, very good. Go now. We'll meet later. Right? Prabhuji knows, sweet relationships, sweet things that happened in the past.
All in Windsor Gardens.
Huh? All in Windsor Gardens. Mine is 2604 and his villa number or something else. So the point is, we all have to experience that and we all have to understand why this regulative principle is important in devotion. Right? For that matter, not only meat, even when you want to pluck some vegetables out, you want to pluck some plant out to eat, you should have the same feeling. Is it needed? Should I do it this much? Should I do it that much? Right? The aspect of mercy should be there. And that is very, very essential in Vaidhi Bhakti. Right? Very, very essential. Actually, the first time I shared this with anyone, this whole, I don't know, it might sound funny, but sometimes Krishna gives that realizations. That is the way he knows this person will understand. That we all have these knots. We all have these knots in devotion. Only Krishna can remove that knot. We can't remove. And he knows how to remove it. Right? So when we follow the Vaidhi Bhakti process, we get that empowerment to remove those unnecessary knots which are stopping us in devotion. Right? Next regulative principle is tapasya, or rather no intoxication, which the principle behind that is tapasya. Right? Tapasya means doing things that you may not like to do, but you still do it because it's actually good for you. Right? So tapasya. So intoxication meaning some things that you like to drink, like tea and coffee. How many love tea here, lift your hand. Without tea, you can't start your day. And so that's a thing between you and Krishna. Look at it like that. Do I love tea more or Krishna more? Can I live with Krishna? Can I live without tea? Think about it. So tapasya means to remove everything that makes you attracted to anything else except Krishna. That is the point. It's not tea and coffee alone. We don't have any enmity with tea and coffee. The point is you are more attracted to tea and coffee than Krishna. So Krishna, I don't want that in between. That is tapasya, right? We don't eat onion garlic also. Because onion garlic gives certain qualities which makes you remember mantras difficult. Practicing devotion is difficult because what you eat is what you are. Right? Your attention span goes down when you eat a lot of onion, a lot of garlic. You can't make spontaneous dishes. This is scientifically proven. I was hearing one beautiful lecture by Amarendra Prabhu. He was explaining material reasons for not eating onion garlic. Forget about spiritual. There are pilots who are advised not to eat garlic 2 hours before they fly because they can't make spontaneous decisions. Right? So bhakti means you should be very attentive in everything that you do. So onion garlic is also part of it, right? So we don't eat that. We don't offer it to Krishna. We don't eat that. And same way, I was telling you about intoxication. We don't. And gambling. We don't want to get into transactions where we get easy money, right? Or we don't want to be manipulative. Whatever I get is mercy of Krishna, right? We don't want to gamble. So people have a question, Prabhuji, can I put my funds in mutual funds? That's okay. That's okay. Prabhuji, can I invest in shares? That's okay. As long as every morning you first do your chanting and after that you go and see what is happening in the Nasdaq. Or you're getting up in the morning and first thing, what is my share price, where do I stand? Then it's gambling. You're understanding, right? What is pulling your mind more? Are you so focused on earning money by investing and de-investing? Because that is gambling. But if you're doing it and that's not part of your attentive, thought process, it's just something that happens as part of your livelihood, that's okay. You're not gambling there. You're just investing it to make your life go forward. So the principle is very important, right? Details are always there, but the principle is very important. Principle is, am I trying to gamble by telling lies, right? Because the moment you start using money in anything, the tendency to lie also increases. And what is the fourth principle? No illicit sex. Meaning what? Sauchyam. Sauchyam meaning cleanliness of heart. Your heart should be clean, which is the most difficult thing in Kali Yuga. The heart is completely contaminated. Completely contaminated. So I should put an endeavor to clean it. It's not easy. It's not easy. Attraction to opposite sex is the reason why we are all here in this material world. Greatest of the great rishis could not control it. But when they became a devotee, it was easy to control. So our focus should be, how should I become a devotee? How should me and my wife practice devotional life? If I'm not married, I should get married. Right? I should get married and nicely have a very loyal partner, and I should be a loyal partner, and I should continue my devotional life with that. Right? Always be satisfied with few things in life. Chanakya Pandit says, you should be satisfied with your guru. You should be satisfied with your wealth, with your wife. And there's one more I forgot. And there are some things that you should never be satisfied with. Is your charity, is your devotional practices, and knowledge. Right? So you should be satisfied with your partner. Even though the partner might be like Amir Khan in the beginning and Amjad Khan in the end, but still is your partner. You can't do anything, right? You should be happy that Krishna has given me this partner. With this partner, I'm going to practice. Whatever I can, I will practice my devotional life, right? And if the partner is not cooperative, I'll be more sincere to Krishna and not force my partner. And with that sincerity, one day that partner will come, right? Actually, people don't come to devotion because they feel too judged. The problem with devotees in the beginning days is they'll get little knowledge and immediately they'll go outside and start looking at people like this, including their own partner, including their own parents. And when people are seen like that, they immediately are repulsive. They'll say, no, I don't want this devotion. Right? We should never do that. When you get knowledge, apply it to us first, not on others. Right? So immediately, one wife comes, she attends the satsang, immediately goes to her husband, and poor fellow, tomorrow morning you'll have bread and omelette? You eat omelette? Gee? Prabhuji told we should not eat. You're such a contaminated fellow. I'm like, that fellow, like yesterday also I had. You only made. Today morning you attended a satsang, next day morning I'm like, gee. So obviously that's not a way to introduce bhakti, right? That's not a way. So due to our own behavior, we make our partners go away from Krishna. That is the reason these days when I'm starting any satsang, I'm saying both of you come. One person no. Because this person will go and torture the other person. That fellow will call me, say, what are you telling my wife? As it is, my life was. Now you added more flavor to it. Right? No, we want everybody to be happy. We want the entire family to be happy. And that is the reason the whole family should come to satsang, including children. Then you can make progress together. Right? At least attend first 3 sessions is what I'm telling now. At least first, and surprisingly, I'll tell you, there are some, not judging anybody, but somehow it happened like that. The wife told me that, Prabhuji, my husband will not come, he's not interested. You can't tell that I can't come. I said, Mataji, please, at least first 3 sessions, or at least first 1 session, bring your husband. Tell him that, this is one of the conditions. For me, come for 1 session. After that, don't come. Surprisingly, both came. 3rd session, the wife stopped coming, he started coming. So, he became very interested. This is nice, I'm getting good knowledge, And wife is like, he's more attracted to Krishna than me, so better not go. I don't know, whatever. So, we never know who will become a devotee, who will not become a devotee, or who will practice. We can't judge anybody, right? So, practicing devotional service with Vaidhi Bhakti is important for beginners, right? As per the prescribed duties, as per the prescribed procedure, as Prabhupada is saying. And slowly, if we are fortunate, we'll also get Raganuga Bhakti. Raganuga Bhakti means spontaneous Bhakti. So I'll read the purport, first purport again, the first paragraph again. Please focus. In this verse, 2 different processes of Bhakti were indicated. The first applies to the one who has actually developed an attachment for Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by transcendental love. And the other is for one who has not developed an attachment for the Supreme Person by transcendental love. For this second class, there are different prescribed rules and regulations one can follow to ultimately elevate to the stage of attachment to Krishna. Right? When we follow these rules and regulations, slowly we will elevate our consciousness to go towards Raganuga Bhakti also. Next. Bhakti Yoga is a purification of the senses. At the present moment in material existence, the senses are always impure, being engaged in sense gratification. But by the practice of Bhakti Yoga, these senses can become purified. And in the purified state, they come directly to the contact with the Supreme Lord. In this material existence, I may be engaged in some service to some master, but I don't really lovingly serve my master. I simply serve to get some money. And the master also is not in love. He takes service from me and pays me. So there is no question of love. But in spiritual life, one must be elevated to the pure stage of love. That stage of love can be achieved by practice of devotional service performed with the present senses. Right? So even if your senses are contaminated, even if your senses are filled with a lot of wrong thoughts, still doesn't mean that you can't start devotion. Devotion you can start at any moment, in whatever situation. Right? Even I'll tell a beautiful story in Bhagavatam, I think in 11th canto, about a prostitute named Pingala. Right? Some of you might have already read this story. Just imagine, in Bhagavatam, a pure scripture, which is about pure devotional service, discussion is happening where Krishna is taking an example of a prostitute. A prostitute means somebody who sells her body and somebody who enjoys her body more, right? So this prostitute is standing outside the door and waiting for her customer that night. And she's waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. That night, nobody is coming. And she's at the door. And then she thinks, okay, at least that next person who is going to come from there is going to, give me my pleasure this night and also pay me for that. And then she waits and waits and waits. And finally, it's a beautiful narration in Bhagavatam. I'm not repeating all that. But at one point, she understands that if I just wait like this for Krishna, that's far better. Maybe I should develop that attraction, not for this body, but for Krishna. And Krishna explains that that is pure devotion. That very feeling in her mind is pure devotion, right? And then after that, she understands and she gives her mind, body, and soul to Krishna. And she came into the pages of Bhagavatam. Just imagine the mercy of Krishna. He brought her right into Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam is Amala Puran, spotless Puran. In that, where great Leelas of Prahalad, Dhruva are being discussed, Pingala story is also being discussed. Right? That is the greatness of the Supreme Lord. That He accepts us in any condition. Whatever we have done till now is not important to Krishna. What we are going to do from today is important for Krishna. And even if you make a mistake, you can start from there. It's never late. You can continue from there. Right? If you see somebody who's struggling in devotion, you don't have to judge that person. Help that person. If you see somebody is not performing it properly, go and take that as a service to help that person. Right? And if you do that, Krishna will be very, very pleased. But if you go and judge and tell 10 people, hey, that Mataji, you don't know. If she's like this, that Prabhuji is like that. No, that Krishna never likes. Satsang is for all of us to go together, not to eliminate people and not to judge people and keep people aside, and that's not the purpose of satsang. Right? Sang meaning we're always together. Yeah. So this love of God, I'm in the third paragraph, this love of God is now in a dormant state in everyone's heart. And there, love of God is manifested in different ways, but it is contaminated by material association. Now the heart has to be purified of the material association, and that dormant natural love for Krishna has to be revived. That is the whole process. So Prabhuji and Mataji's, see, whatever we have done till now will stay in our consciousness. Which materialistic, it will stay, it will not go away. So hating your past too much also is not a mark of devotion. Right? Because it's just a other side of a coin. You should remove the feeling of hatred only, whether it's for good or bad also. Right? For example, you are saying, I have stopped drinking tea. I've stopped drinking tea. I've stopped drinking tea. That means you're still attached to tea. Why you have to stop drinking tea again and again and again? I've stopped eating meat. Meat is bad. Every people who eat meat are demons. I've stopped eating. I've done a great thing. I've stopped eating. That means you're still attached to meat only. It is just a reflection of other side of a coin. You should become indifferent. Krishna says indifferent. Right? Traigunya Vishya Veda, Nishtraigunya Bhavarjuna, Nirdvandva Nitya Sattvasto, Niryoga Atma. Arjuna, rise above the three modes. Rise above the goodness, rise above the passion, rise above the ignorance. Because in all those three, you are still attached. By leaving something and talking about it, you are still attached to it. See, there is this beautiful story of two disciples of a guru. The guru says, go and get some wood from the forest. And they go to the wood to find some firewood. And while coming back, they have a lot of firewood, to carry, and it starts raining. And the stream of water, there is a small stream of water which becomes big because of the rain. And now it's very difficult to cross. But they both can cross. But there is one lady There is one lady waiting on the other end of the stream and she's like wondering, how can I go pass? And she happens to be a little beautiful woman. And both these devotees are like brahmacharis, right? Who have taken a vow that they'll never talk to a woman, never touch a woman, never that, never that. And it's becoming dark and it's a jungle. The lady has to cross. Otherwise, she'll be remaining in the jungle. If she crosses that water, she goes to her home. So one of the brahmachari looks at the lady and says, Mataji, I will help you. In what way he has to help? There is only one way. She has to climb on him. Right? She climbs on his back and the other brahmachari says, what are you doing? You're taking brahmacharya vrat. What is this? He said, no, that's okay. But if we leave this woman here, she'll be in the forest. Let's do something. And he brings that woman to the other side of the stream and he leaves her there and then goes back and takes the log of wood and he also brings that and the other brahmachari is like totally bewildered. What did he do? And then they both come to the ashram. And then, they go to the guru and the guru is very concerned. Hey, it's already raining. It's late. I don't know. And he said, Gurudev, we are fine. We bought the wood. And the first brahmachari who brought that lady, just keeps the wood there and he goes to take bath so that he can do the remaining part of his devotional service. And this other brahmachari is like holding the wood in front of the guru and like, Gurudev, I don't know how to tell this, but something really bad has happened. I don't know how to tell. I'm very shameful to tell you. And his guru is like, tell what happened. What is the problem? He said, Gurudev, I don't even think that he should use that wood for burning to cook because he has used the same hands to touch that wood. Guru is like, what is going on? What hands? What wood? What are you speaking? The Gurudev, there was this lady and Gurudev, it's a very bad thing he did. I told him, Gurudev, not to do. So what did he do? Tell me first. He's creating a whole scene before he tells what he did. Then he said, Chipura, what did he do? Then he said, Gurudev, actually he folded that lady and he put that lady on his back and he crossed the whole stream of water with her. And then I was telling him, but he didn't listen. He left that lady there. Now, he has come here. And the Guru says, he left that lady near that stream. You brought that lady to the ashram also. You brought that lady to the ashram. And now you are making me understand how that lady looks like and what he did. What nonsense are you carrying? Isn't it? So the point is, it's not important, what we did in the past. You don't have to carry it now into devotional life. You can let things go. Things happen. Right? Even if sometimes some mistake happens, let that mistake happen. Okay, it happened, mistake ho gaya, but now I'm going to start again. Once I saw one devotee on an Ekadashi day, I went to his home and he was eating veg biryani. What? Ekadashi day, he's eating veg biryani? And I asked him, Prabhuji, what happened? Why are you eating veg biryani Ekadashi day? He said, Prabhuji, I forgot it's Ekadashi today. So in the morning, we made upma and we had and, anyway, it's broken. So it's broken in the morning. Why are you breaking it now? You both had upma, that's okay. But why are you continuing that with veg biryani? You can have samo now. You can have some fruits now. No, Prabhuji, I broke now. So what is that breaking, not breaking thing? The purpose of doing Ekadashi is what? To not eat grain or to remember Krishna? What is the point? Remember Krishna. That is a principle. The principle of Ekadashi is remember Krishna. You eating, not eating is not that most important thing. A lot of people don't eat a lot of things. Right? Doesn't mean that it is devotion. Doesn't mean that it is devotion. When you are going on a very long flight, you're not supposed to eat, masala things. The whole flight you will be in some other place, not in your seat. Isn't it? So does it have anything to do with devotion? No. Sometimes, people fast. Too much fasting they do. Next Saturday is Pandav Nirjala Ekadashi. Already people are tensed about it. I'm having water now. So the principle is we should fast. We should try our best to fast. But if that fasting is taking your consciousness consciousness more than Krishna, then you better eat and chant more. Right? There is the Prabhuji, his name is very senior Prabhuji in ISKCON, his name is Atma Tattva Prabhu. It's an amazing lecture he gives about Ekadashi. He says, devotees fast for the whole Ekadashi without drinking water. Next day morning, they are shouting at any devotee who comes in front of them. Because see, what happens when you don't satisfy your senses, you become very angry. For small things, you will become very angry. Right? What is the whole point of fasting if it is increasing your anger? Better than that, have whatever little you can. But again, doesn't mean that, Ekadashi should be another feast. Right? My wife is looking at me. But the point is, it should be simple. As simple as it can be. So that you can give more time towards devotional activities. Once, Bhagavad Prabhu was doing a satsang somewhere in one devotee's home. I think it was Naveen Prabhu's home. You don't know him, but somewhere near Secunderabad. So he was doing a DT installation in their home because it was Ekadashi. And they made Chappan Bhog. And I said, okay, Chappan Bhog, maybe they would have made for God. But can you believe? They made 56 items of Ekadashi. And there was Gulab Jamun also, Ekadashi Gulab Jamun. It was like too much. There is Ekadashi Paratha. There is Ekadashi Dosa. There is Ekadashi Pizza. You know how to make Ekadashi? I am not telling that. There are many ways of doing it. And there was one atta that became very famous. What was that brand? Huh? Rajgira atta. My God. That was like, people are meditating on that atta. Want to follow Ekadashi. Arey Baba, Ekadashi doesn't mean don't eat grain. Ekadashi means remember Krishna. Prabhupada told, that once devotees are sitting in the temple, literally, fasting and, struggling and totally tired. Prabhupada told, better take some prasad, go for book distribution. Take some prasad, go for some kirtan. What is the use of your fasting if the only thing in your consciousness is I'm fasting, I'm fasting, I'm fasting, I'm fasting. If you can't fast on a Nirjal Ekadashi day, next Saturday, take a 10th canto of Bhagavatam or one canto of Bhagavatam, from morning till evening, just read the entire canto. That is better than you not fasting. Right? Better than, if you cannot fast, chant 108 rounds. Sit down and chant morning till night. Just keep chanting. In between, you're feeling hungry, take a watermelon, take some mango or whatever, buttermilk. But chant. Right? That is more important. What pleases Krishna more? What pleases Krishna more? Of course, if you can fast, you should fast. Some people really have a difficulty fasting. Some people really have that because they've been brought up like that. Fasting is not the part of their, thing. They get angry if they don't see whatever, right? So it's okay. Eat and do your devotion service. That is better than, not eating and looking at each other like this from morning till night. Right? So the point that I was trying to tell, I don't know why I came in this direction. Pandav Nirjal? No, that was not the agenda. Tapasya. Yes, tapasya is very, very important. Right? And we have to control our mind. Cleanliness, illicit sex I was talking about. Yeah. We have to somehow clean that heart. Somehow. Even if you get attracted to somebody we should not get attracted, go and shamelessly admit in front of Krishna and tell Krishna, Krishna, please help me. Krishna, please help me. Right? Because we have to do, see, we're all grahasthas and we deal with the whole world with so many problems, with so many issues. Right? Like, for example, in Krishna consciousness, it is very clearly told that we should perform that act of, sex only when you want to beget children for Krishna. But there is this person who is very much bodily attracted. What will that fellow do? So it so happened that even in Prabhupada's time, there was a Russian couple, and that Prabhuji, that Mataji was like, no, don't come near me. We're not having children now. But, his bodily need is there. It's part of the bodily need. He doesn't know what to do. And he became frustrated. It so happened that he went to a prostitute. And that thing came to Prabhupada, that, your devotee has gone to a prostitute. And Prabhupada called that couple, saying that you come here. And he asked, why did you do this? Why did you have to do? Then he told, Prabhupada, what can I do? My body is not allowing me to, Stay away from a woman. I need to go to my wife. Then Prabhupada told his wife, Amma, he is your husband. Whatever that need is, you have to understand that need. You should understand each other's needs and settle it. That is the ashram. This is the ashram within which it is allowed. Yes, it is to beget. Prabhupada is the one who wrote that purport, saying that it is only for begetting children. But Prabhupada also told that in the ashram you have to make it work. But it's not a license. It's not a license, but you should understand the needs. Because the principle is what? Cleanliness of heart. That is the principle. To keep your heart clean, you have to do whatever that is needed, but remain within that ashram. Look at every other lady as a Mataji. Look at every male as a Prabhu. Try to maintain that respect. Even if you get wrong thoughts, wrong feelings, go and admit in front of Krishna and ask for that mercy, ask for that shelter. That's the most important. And deliberately don't put yourself into a situation which will trigger that kind of activities. Right? Like, why do we say in satsang, Mataji this said, Prabhuji this said? Sometimes it's a big problem for some people. In one time session, I happened to tell, that please, ladies, this side. Immediately one girl. See, this is why I don't like religion. So, what can you do? Why do we do this, Prabhuji and Mataji? For many reasons. One is, of course, respectfulness. And another thing is that if you sit separately, you can sit actually very, very close. And this hall can accommodate 500 people also. But if you sit together, then it's a problem, isn't it? So there are many, many principles, reasons why we do what we do. But that we have to cleanse our heart. The point is, we should develop. We may not be so pure. We are not that pure, but we are aspiring to be pure. And when Krishna sees that we are aspiring to be pure, he'll immediately give that purity to us. Right? That is part of Vaidhi Bhakti. So, in the last paragraph, Prabhupada continues, to practice the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga, one should, under the guidance of an expert spiritual master, follow certain principles. One should rise early in the morning. I'm telling this to myself. Take bath, enter the temple and offer prayers and chant Hare Krishna. Then collect flowers to offer to the deity. Cook foodstuffs to offer to the deity. Take prasadam and so on. There are various rules and regulations which one should follow. And one should constantly hear Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam from pure devotees. This practice can help anyone rise to the level of the love of God. And then he is sure of his progress into the spiritual kingdom of God. This practice of Bhakti Yoga, under the rules and regulations, with the direction of his spiritual master, will surely bring one to the stage of love of God. Right? Prabhupada is assuring that if you start practicing devotional life as per Vaidhi Bhakti principles, one day we will achieve what we are supposed to achieve. And it will become spontaneously part of your life. You don't have to put any extra effort. It just becomes part of your life. Right? Yeah. Basically, the result is develop a desire to attain Krishna. Yes. 12.10. Abhyashe api asammartho ashi. Abhyashe api asammartho ashi. Matkarma paramo bhava. Matkarma paramo bhava. Mat artham api karmani. Mat artham api karmani. Kurvan siddhim avapsyasi. Kurvan siddhim avapsyasi. Translation. Please repeat after me. If you cannot practice the regulations of Bhakti Yoga, then just work for me. Because then just try to work for me. Because by working for me, you will come to the perfect stage. This is like 50% discount. First was 5%, this is direct 50%. See, you can't follow the regulative principles. You're not able to do it. At least work for me. What does it mean, work for me? What does it mean? Service to the Lord and devotees, yes. And give the results. Okay. Huh? For the Guru's pleasure, work, do those activities. Work for in all the activities are favorable for devotional service. At least work like that. Right? Try to structure your life in such a way. Let's set the purpose of Prabhupada. One who is not able even to practice the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga under the guidance of spiritual master can still be drawn to the perfection stage by working for the Supreme Lord. How to do this work has already been explained in the 55th verse of the 11th chapter. One should be sympathetic to the progression of Krishna consciousness. There are many devotees who are engaged in propagation of Krishna consciousness and they require help. So, even if one cannot directly practice the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga, he can try to help such work. Every endeavor requires land, capital, organization, and labor. Just as in business, one requires a place to stay, some capital to use, some labor, and some organization to expand. So the same is required in the service of Krishna. The only difference is that in materialism, one works for sense gratification. The same work, however, can be performed for the satisfaction of Krishna, and that is spiritual activity. If one has sufficient money, he can help in building an office or temple for propagating Krishna consciousness, or he can help in publications. There are various fields of activity, and one should be interested in such activities. If one cannot sacrifice the results of his activities, the same person can still sacrifice some percentage to propagate Krishna consciousness. This volunteer service to cause the Krishna conscious movement will help one rise to the higher state of love for God, whereupon one becomes perfect. Such a beautiful way Prabhupada explained, right? So you cannot follow four regulative principles. You are not able to do the devotional practice properly. Help the people who are doing it. Right? You cannot organize satsang in your home. Don't complain for people who are organizing in their home. At least that is a big great service. Hare Krishna. Yeah. So at least, don't do unfavorable activities. Right? We all earn. Give some percentage of income to ISKCON so that ISKCON will use it in printing books. And it will go to the right people. You cannot maintain cows. Put it in a project where they are maintaining cows. You cannot distribute prasadam. Give it to a place where they'll cook prasadam and they will distribute the prasadam. You cannot do this, you cannot. But we can still do in whatever way we can. Whatever little way we can do. Isn't it? How many here feel that he cannot do anything? Lift your hand. I want the purport of why you think you cannot do anything. I said you cannot do anything. What is he saying? Right now. What masala used while cooking? Anyway, so the point is very simple. We can do something. Be appreciative of whatever little we are doing. Don't be judgmental. Somebody is trying to do something. If you can encourage that something, he'll do everything one day. You can't hear? Okay. See, simple. If you judge somebody, that person will stop doing what he's doing also. How many agree with this? But if you encourage that person, oh, nice, you're doing this. I'll also want to do it with you. He'll do more or she'll do more. But if you start poking, saying that you didn't do this, you didn't do this, you didn't do this, what will that fellow do? What will that Mataji do? She'll not feel comfortable to do anything. Isn't it? Let people do. You do it perfectly. That is more important for you. If you think you can do it, you do it. But don't impose it on others. There's no point imposing on others. Right? You set an example and you can do it. But you should first practice it properly before telling it to others that you practice it. Okay, but we can do something. We can do something for Krishna. Every single day you can do something. Okay, Prabhu, I don't have enough money to give. I don't trust giving money to whatever, I can do anything. Okay, so recruit a devotee. He is in need of job. In your company, give a job to a devotee. Can you do that? Or, find a place for devotees where they can stay together. You can open a hostel for devotees where you can have they can have some nice prashadam. There is a nice youth preaching going on here in Narsingi. I don't know how many of you know that. Many college students are being encouraged to come to Krishna consciousness. They are in need of funds. You can meet Sunil Prabhu. Where is Sunil Prabhu there? Very well. So you can lift your hand like this. Yes, little more. They can't see. Yes. Very well. So you can support. Oh, Mishra Prabhu is here. Very well. Yes. So you can do your part. Give 50 rupees a month. That still matters. Right? Just do your part. The way he made me feel. Thank you, Prabhu. Yeah. So you can do something. How many of you know how to make nice presentations in PowerPoint? You can make presentations. And if you can present, you can also present. Go to a college. There are many colleges here. When you have free time on Saturday, go and speak to the dean of the college. Go tell them that I want to do some value education classes. Whatever I heard in Bhagavad Gita here, I'll convert that into a different way of publishing it. I want to come and do that. Do it. Who is stopping you? So it's not loud enough? Yeah? I have to be. Huh? I'll do one more thing. Hare Krishna? Don't ask me what I did. I shifted to mic 2. Okay, so the point is, you all can do something. So use that skill given by Krishna. That skill is given by Krishna only. Making a PowerPoint or doing a presentation given by Krishna only. Rath Yatra posters, yeah, Mataji is here. What is the time? 8 o'clock. Huh? 7:45. Yeah, we still have 2 hours. Don't worry. So, Rath Yatra posters. So, Mataji is doing Rath Yatra posters, right? Or rather, she is encouraging many to do Rath Yatra posters. So, make those posters. Make a picture of Jagannath. Today, there was a nice poster made by a child. A nice colorful one. It's not about how perfect the poster is. It's about how much time you have spent on it and what you've done in it, right? So you can do it. You can do it in PowerPoint or Excel or Word or whatever software you know. Make Jagannath out of it and send it to Sumamataji, and it will be there. It will go viral around the world that Jagannath is coming, right? So you all know, right? Last week I told July 1st, you all have to resign. No. July 1st, you have to come to Rath Yatra. And if you don't come, then you can resign. You'll get back that job, don't worry. Krishna will give a better job. But don't skip events like Rath Yatra, Janmashtami, Gaur Purnima, Narsimha Chaturdashi. There is no point in living if you are not available for these festivals. Isn't it? So make sure that you are available by taking leave in advance. Yes. So Jagannath Rath Yatra, there are a lot of services. We have a service of distributing prasadam behind the car. So make yourself available that day. We are going to tell you which place you can be there. We are going to distribute it evenly now. We don't want the same devotee to do it from the beginning till the end. Because after that, the devotee is going on 1 week leave. Can't lift this hand, can't lift that hand. So we want to distribute it properly, right? And making, what other services are there? You want to? Yes. Yeah, 1 minute. You can take the mic and.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji. We are making posters. For posters, all we need is a drawing, painting, sketch, anything that you have made, and a very high resolution picture of that. If you cannot take a picture in the Sunday's satsang, you can bring the original artwork and we will take the picture. Okay? So that picture we need. Then we need audio, video presentations. What does that mean? Audio, kids can sing Jagannath Ashtakam. I will send the link to Jagannath Ashtakam in case anybody needs it. And kids can sing very nicely. You can do kartal and mridanga behind it. And that is something that we need. How we will use it, we don't know. We may mix it with a video, or we may release the audio in bits and pieces. There is a review committee. All your contributions will have to go through that. And Iyer Prabhuji is here. Iyer Prabhuji? No? Okay. Iyer Prabhuji and Giriraj Prabhuji is here. Okay. So Giriraj Prabhuji, Iyer Prabhuji and myself are presenting your work to the review committee, and review happens and feedback is given, and we take care of incorporating those feedback.
Prabhuji is there. He's there outside. You can see.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's how. So we need small stories of Jagannath. Prabhuji has a Jai Jagannath book. If you want, you can take pictures of a few chapters. Each chapter has very small story of Jagannath. And you can make your children tell the story in their own sweet words. Right? It's a video. And we will use it in we will present it in a nice manner. And then the videos, audios, and posters. And Prabhuji, today I couldn't get the posters printed because the review did not happen and feedback is taking a long time. But next Sunday, we will be ready with posters and pamphlets for Rath Yatra. So the posters have to go behind your cars. Okay, all your cars, wherever it is.
Haribo! Yes, yes.
And pamphlets, we need help to sort of distribute them, 150 of them, in the Marwadi shops in and around Abbots. That's what the plan, Prabhuji. So what we are going to tell them is, any customer that come to them, they are going to distribute the pamphlets. Actually, we can do the same inside our communities. Let our kids knock the door, hand that beautiful pamphlet. Right? So we can also do that. So next Sunday, I promise we'll be ready with that. Then fourth one, we are making milk mugs, tote bags, and t-shirts. T-shirts for all the volunteers with Rath Yatra. That is also, that is getting reviewed right now. So we really request all the volunteers to buy them. And we are also going to set up a stall in the final destination of the Rath Yatra. That what is that? Lalita Kala Toranam. There we will have a stall where we are going to sell this. And all the original artifacts, arts and crafts that you would have made for Jagannath can be displayed there. That is also possible. And temple president has said that he will also give some appreciating reward for all the children that have contributed. So these are the things. Yes, yes. If you know any of the celebrities who can talk about Jagannath Rath Yatra and endorse it, that video is going to be used. And you yourself, if you have taken part in a Rath Yatra in the previous years, you can make a video of yourself talking about how you participated in it and how it all went. And that is also a video that we are going to use. Closer to Rath Yatra, which we are getting very fast, 14th of January, morning 10 o'clock, June, 14th of June is Snan Yatra. As you know, the siblings and Lord are given bath, and that's when they go off to their aunt's place. That's a huge celebratory festival for us. We really need to create buzz around that. Snan Yatra is a very less known ritual amongst non-devotees. So anything that you can do. And every day we are putting all the posters in Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, And if you have these accounts, please share. Nothing like this. We have to like and share and comment if you can. So these are the this is the minimum. Most, I think the easiest of all is if you have a Facebook account, you just see ISKCON Hyderabad account every day. There will be a poster. Like it, comment it, say Jai Jagannath.
Jai Jagannath.
Yeah, and share it on your profile page. This will create enough buzz, and how easy is that? And Jagannath will be pleased. This is the easiest of all services, and sky is the limit.
Let's say 3 loud Haribol to Suma Mataji. Hari!
Ayyar Prabhuji and Giriraj Prabhuji deserve more Haribols.
Ayyar Prabhu and Giriraj Prabhu. Haribol!
What's the duration of the video? Minimum as much duration, 5 minutes.
30 seconds to 1 minute, Prabhuji. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Short videos.
Manager told check with his media team and he mentioned that there are 4 to 5 celebrities, but they don't know what this Jagannath is and what this Bhagavad Gita is. So they don't know what it is.
We can explain.
You can explain.
They are not giving, at least you give. That's what I'm trying to get. Just trying to get hold of the country also. I think
Yes.
I'll be able to get it. But at least one celebrity I will get.
Haribol, Haribol. So everybody try to approach some celebrities and make their life meaningful, by saying Jai Jagannath, that is once in life. Right? So thank you, Mataji. Thank you, really appreciate it. I mean, Mataji is such a busy woman herself. She has 3 children. Huh? 4 children. Husband also said. Okay, 4 children. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, the house is filled with so many responsibilities, and she's also in a leadership position in her company, and still she has to find time out to do all these activities. It's not easy, right? But this is like going beyond the comfort zone to serve Krishna, and every year she just crosses the next bar, whatever she has said last year, and we all have to help her do that. So can we do that? Yes, let's do it. So coming back to where we ended here. So I'm just reading the last line once again. If one cannot sacrifice the results of his activities, the same person can still sacrifice some percentage to propagate for Krishna consciousness. This voluntary service to the cause of Krishna consciousness will help one rise to higher state of love for God, whereupon one becomes perfect. Right? Something we can do. One small incident I'll tell about Srila Prabhupada. Once Prabhupada was traveling with his disciples, and he was in a plane. And the plane happened to be delayed. Normally, whatever Prabhupada has is already there with the disciples, like fruits or milk or anything that he takes, right? Even during the journey time, his disciples would keep it so that during the flight time, they give it to him. But this flight got delayed and it was still going, and there was another, whatever additional journey to do. And Prabhupada was becoming hungry. It's natural, he's more than 75 years old at that time. And they had to give him something, and the disciples were wondering what to do. And one disciple, he went and asked the air hostess that, do you have some milk? There's some milk that you can boil and give. My spiritual master is here, Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, and he needs some milk. And this air hostess doesn't know what it is, right? I mean, who is this Swami, spiritual master? He has no clue. And okay, I'll boil some milk. And then she has, anything else you would like to have? Do you have fruits? Yeah, we have some fruits. I have in the freezer. So please give some fruits also, whatever. And then she boiled that milk. And just imagine you're cooking for AC Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila. How many here had got that opportunity? Right? I mean, we can't even imagine. She made that. She made that milk ready. She made that fruits ready. And she took that plate and she gave it to Prabhupada. Said, Swamiji, you can have this. And Prabhupada looked at her, said, thank you very much. She took that milk and he started taking fruits. Then while he was taking that fruits, the air hostess, she doesn't know Vaishnava etiquette. She took one fruit and ate. From that very plate of a sannyasi. It's an offense actually, you should not do that.
I mean, for that matter, anybody's plate, you should not pick up anything. Yeah. Right. So she took that fruit from Prabhupada's plate, and immediately his disciple was, hey, what did you do? You're not supposed to do that. And she's like, what's the big deal? I just took one fruit. She took one more. The disciple like, no, stop here. I'll tell you, explain it later, but you should not do that. There is then that Eros was okay, that's fine. Then she left, and Prabhupada left, and everything happened, and then after many years, there was one devotee of Prabhupada distributing books in South America, somewhere in Brazil, and he happens to go to this house, and he was the disciple who was in that plane also that day with Prabhupada when this incident happened, and he was distributing books. He went to this house in Brazil, in some town somewhere, and he knocks the door, and this lady opens, and she's the same air hostess. And the air hostess is totally shocked to see. He said, oh, I was willing to see a devotee since that time. That Swamiji, I don't know, he attracted me so much. I wanted to read about him. I somehow found some books wherever I flew as air hostess, and I'm reading his book. Come inside. And when the devotee went inside, he saw only Prabhupada pictures all over the room. So that's a touch of a pure devotee. Just imagine, all she did is an offense. But she served him. Right? Can we do something for Prabhupada? Yes. Something is better. There is one Mataji, her name is Yamuna Mataji. She also, served Prabhupada in all situations. Once Prabhupada was traveling in a train in India, and he suddenly told, I want to eat rice. Now, where do you get rice in a train? Right? I mean, fresh rice. Where do you get? You can't just give whatever. And catering and all is happened now. I'm talking about 1970s. So this Mataji went to this one van in which some cooking happens. And she told that I want to cook rice for my spiritual master. Because, she's an American, Yamuna Mataji. And she went to this coach in which some cooking happens. And that person sitting there, that in charge, said, no, we don't allow anybody to cook. Said, see, you're not understanding. I have to cook rice for my spiritual master. I have to take it. He has asked for rice. And he's like, no, we don't allow, And she said, either you're allowing me to cook rice or I'm going to jump from the train. I don't have a choice. Because in this body that Krishna has given, if I can't serve my spiritual master, I don't need this body. I'll quit. And she was serious about it. That person in that, that in charge of, he said, madam, you cook whatever you want to cook. So she immediately took that bowl, and they washed that bowl like anything, whatever in which they want to cook the rice. In the moving train, they boiled some rice and made rice for Prabhupada, and she took it to Prabhupada and said, Prabhupada, here is rice. And Prabhupada was so happy. And he quotes about Yamuna Mataji. So even being a Mataji, in those 1970s, going and arguing with somebody for a spiritual master, doing something, right? And what a glorious way in which she left her body. She was chanting her rounds and finished her 16th round, and then she left her body right, while chanting in Vrindavan. Huh? I think it's in Vrindavan. Really? Okay. On Ekadashi day she left, right? And her song we hear every day. Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Prabhupada told, wherever, any temple, any house also, if there is satsang and there is altar being opened, play that song. And it has to be Yamuna Mataji's song. Right? So that is a mercy that she gets by serving. So we all can do something for Krishna. So Krishna, what did he start with? He said, give your mind intelligence. Then what did he reduce it to? He said, follow the 4 regulative principles of Bhakti. If you can't do that. And then now he's saying, if you can't follow the 4 regulative principles of Bhakti, at least work for me. You all know how to work for Krishna, right? We can do something, either through money or through effort or through skill or through influence. Just now we were saying, can you approach a celebrity? Approach a celebrity. Find out how you can go to Chiranjeevi's house. How you can go to, I don't know, who is the next great celebrity now? Mahesh Babu. He's an old fellow now. Yeah? Go to Allu Arjun's house. Tell him, Jai Jagannath, and his life will be successful. Right? So we can do a lot for Krishna. Yes. So let's go to this verse 12.11. Athaitad api ashakto asi. Athaitad api ashakto asi. Kartum mat yogam ashrita. Kartum mat yogam ashrita. Sarva karma phalatyagam. Sarva karma phalatyagam. Tata kuru yatatmavan. Tata kuru yatatmavan. Translation. Repeat after me. If, however, you are able to work, you are unable to work in this consciousness of me, then try to act, giving up all results of your work, and try to be self-situated. He's saying, okay, you can't work for me, but at least try to give up the results of that work to me. Right? Just say that, Krishna, okay, whatever comes, it's yours. I'm not able to work in a favorable condition, maybe sometimes, but I will give the results to you. Like Arjuna, he said, I'm going to do the war, the ghastly war of killing everybody. But Krishna, it's for you. Whatever comes out of it is for you, is Bhakti, is my offering to you. Let's read the purport of Prabhupada. It may be that one is unable even to sympathize with the activities of Krishna consciousness because of social, familial, or religious considerations, or because of some other impediments. Are you understanding what Prabhupada is saying here? Due to some reason, you are not able to even be favorable. Like you are in an Arab country, right? You can't do much in Krishna consciousness. You really can't. Even if you want to chant Hare Krishna loudly, you can't chant, right? Because if you chant loudly, you might be caught saying he's practicing something other than, our religion, so he has to be arrested, something like that. So I often tell that all the people who don't chant loudly in Kirtan will definitely take birth in Arab countries. But that's what we like to do. So we get that kind of body. So because we are born in India, chant loudly, sing loudly, dance loudly. It's a fortune that we are in the part of the world where we can practice our religion. It's not about being loud, but with full heart. Yes? Okay. So if one attaches himself directly to the activities of Krishna consciousness, there may be objections from family members or so many other difficulties. For one who has such a problem, it is advised that he sacrifice the accumulated results of his activities to some good cause. Such procedures are described in the Vedic rules. There are many descriptions of sacrifices and special functions for the full moon day, and there is a special work in which the result of one's previous action may be applied. Thus, one may gradually become elevated to the stage of knowledge. It is also found that when one who is not even interested in the activity of Krishna consciousness gives charity to some hospital or some other social institution, he gives up the hard-earned results of his activities. That is also recommended here because the practice of giving up the results of one's activities, one is sure to purify his mind gradually. In that purified state of mind, one becomes able to understand Krishna consciousness. Of course, Krishna consciousness is not dependent on any other experience because Krishna consciousness itself can purify one's mind. But if there are impediments to accepting Krishna consciousness, one may try to give up the results of his actions. In that respect, social service, community service, national service, sacrifice for one's own country, etc., may be accepted so that someday one may come to the stage of pure devotional service to the Supreme Lord. In Bhagavad Gita 18.46, we find it is stated, Yatha pavitrair bhutanam. If one decides to sacrifice for the supreme cause, even if he does not know the supreme cause is Krishna, he will come gradually to understand that Krishna is the supreme cause of the sacrificial method. So Provision Mataji, Prabhupada is explaining here that the mere act of giving itself is pure. You may not be giving it to ISKCON, but give it somewhere. Because when you start giving it somewhere, one day you will come to the right understanding that giving it to a place where Shastradhan happens, where knowledge is propagated, is a better place. But you should start somewhere. If somebody is giving to an anath ashram, encourage him. Don't discourage him. If somebody is giving for, army services, give it. Let him give it. Because the act of giving itself purifies. Charity should never be stopped. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, the act of charity should never be stopped. Wherever you're doing, but charity has to happen. Because when you are doing charity, there is a biggest advantage that you get more than the person receiving is you will be relieved from anxiety. Right? When you have a fixed amount of income going out from your bank account to some other purpose, where you don't get a direct benefit, but you are benefiting others, that will actually benefit you. You'll get less attached to your income. Just imagine, somebody is earning 1 lakh a month. He's so much attached to that 1 lakh if he's not giving it to anyone. But if he simply says, 10% is not mine. Krishna, the 10% is not mine. Forget about Krishna. For any reason, this 10% is not mine. I'm just giving it. I'm giving it to Anath Ashram. I'm giving it to old age home. I'm giving it to... That very act of giving it purifies the entire 1 lakh. Entire remaining that comes to you. And you're not attached to it. And tomorrow, if you lose that 90 or you lose part of that 90 also, you will not be too much in anxiety. But a person who never gives charity, even if 5 rupees is deducted by human resources, you will go and make a big hue and scene in the office saying, why my salary reduced by 5 rupees? Because you are so much focused on that income. Right? People who never give become stiff like rock. Become stiff like rock. Difficult for them to give anywhere. Eventually, they don't even give to their families. Eventually, they don't even give to their parents. Eventually, they'll just die with that money in their hands. They also won't enjoy that money. They also won't enjoy that money. Right? That's a very, very unfortunate way of living the body. Okay. Yeah. So we should encourage that act of charity in whatever situation we are, whatever little we can do. There is no amount to it. There is never an amount to it. Krishna never sees how much you are giving. Krishna only sees how much you are keeping. Right? How much you are giving doesn't matter to Krishna. How much is this person keeping who is very attached to it? Because Krishna sees the attachment. How much attached are you to what you're doing? Anything can change in your life. Never stop your charity. Never ever stop your charity. In fact, you should earn more to give more. God gives more for you to give more, not to keep more. Right? To make it part of your life. Right? I know some devotees, some wonderful devotees here. They just make it part of their year that I'm going to give this much to Krishna. And they're not attached to it. That's an unbelievable quality. In Kali Yuga, it's very rare to find that quality. But that should be part of your thing. Yes, Krishna, I'm not attached to this. If you don't do that, then you will suffer more. Then you will suffer more. Not giving charity, don't think I'm helping somebody. You are helping yourself. Right? So if your friends are there and they are doing some charity or they're willing to do some, ask them to do. It may not be for Krishna consciousness, but let them do. Giving up the results itself will make you detach from that work. Right? And the results of that work also. Like that. Did you all understand what we discussed? Yeah. This is the last verse. With this ends the theme of what we are discussing today. So 12.12. So the first was what? What did Krishna ask us to give and surrender? Mind and intelligence. Then 10% discount was what? Follow the regulative principle. Then 50% discount was what? Work for it. How much percent is left? 10, 50, 60 is gone. So another 20% is what? Just now? Give the results. Give the results. Now let us hear from Krishna. 12.12. Shreyo hi jnanam abhyashaj abhyayashaj. Shreyo hi jnanam abhyayashaj jnanad dhyanam vishishyate jnanad dhyanam vishishyate dhyayanat karma phala tyagas dhyayanat karma phala tyagas tyaga chantir anantaram tyaga chantir anantaram. Translation, repeat after me. If you cannot take to this practice, then engage yourself in cultivation of knowledge. Better now is concluding. Better than knowledge, however, is meditation. And better than meditation is renunciation of the fruits of action. For by such renunciation, one can attain peace of mind. So how beautifully Krishna is 100% discounted now. So you can't give anything. Now take from me knowledge. You can't give your mind, you can't give your intelligence, you can't give your work, you can't give results of the work, you can't follow any principles. Okay, let us sit down and take the knowledge. Let us sit down and take the knowledge, right? That is what we are all doing. We are sitting in a satsang for what? We are not here just sitting here, just because it's a ritual or anything. We want to learn every week something, right? We are cultivating the aspect of taking knowledge. And we are also telling our children that when they become big, they should also get into the habit of accepting knowledge. Indirectly, we are doing that. Don't think, oh, my child is not sitting in this hall, but the child is sitting in the bedroom and they know where your parents are sitting. When they become 40-year-old, 50-year-old, one day they'll come and sit in the satsang also. Don't have to force anybody. Because we are setting an example that part of my life is every week I go and sit and take knowledge. That is part of my life. That should be like a fixed thing. It should not be changed. Sunday evening means that's it. This is what I do. And anybody says, Sunday evening, sir, I'm going to show you something, we'll do something. Sir, I'm not available. Sunday evening, I'm done. And that is how it should be. Otherwise, you will have all the time some distraction. All the time something will come. Because that is how we are tested. Right? How many here have missed a flight? Lift your hand. Some. How many here have missed a satsang? Lift your hand. Come on, be sincere. So how many more hands are coming? How many have gone late to a train station? How many have gone late to a satsang? How much importance we give to Krishna? He also gives so much importance to us. Ye yathamam prapadyante tam sadema sadam. Exactly like we approach Krishna, he also reciprocates with us the same way. Krishna knows. Krishna knows. I'm not saying everybody who came late is truly not Krishna conscious. No, it's not like that. Krishna knows the situation from which you have come. That's most important. Krishna knows better. So we don't need to sit here and judge. No, that's not the point. Have you come on time? And have you put your maximum effort to come on time? And if you have not able to come on time, you and Krishna know better why you have not come on time. That's the most important. You don't have to explain anybody on the planet. For that matter, whatever we do in Bhakti, we don't have to explain anybody. The only one who has to understand is Krishna. Samsiddhi, Haritoshan. He has to be happy with what you're doing. Then you do whatever you want to do. Right? Don't have to judge anyone. Don't have to judge anyone. Like one Mataji used to come very late, very, very late to satsang. What she used to come late because that is the time her husband would go to sleep. What to do? That fellow will not allow until he has slept. She'll come at 9:15, even after nourishing Aarti. But just, Prabhu, I just want to take association of devotees. At least that half an hour is enough. Now, is Krishna happy with her or not? Of course. In whatever situation you are doing your best. That is the most important. Rather than, but we should be sincere. Krishna knows better. Krishna knows better. Let's see the purport of this. As mentioned in the previous verses, there are two kinds of devotional service. The way of regulative principles and the way of full attachment in love of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For those who are actually not able to follow the principles of Krishna consciousness, it is better to cultivate knowledge. Because by knowledge, one can be able to understand his real position. It's very important verse. Very, very important point Prabhupada is saying. If you get knowledge, at least you'll know where I am. Because a lot of people think that I am a super devotee. Right? Outside, if you go and tell, Mataji, will you come to satsang? हाँ, हम हमेशा सत्संग में रहते हैं. किधर रहते? हम तो पूरा 4 धाम घूमते हैं. हर एक साल 4 धाम घूम के आते हैं. There are people like that. Right? You go and tell them a little, Mataji, वो यात्रा, हम तो यात्रा में ही रहते हैं. आप जप करो, हमेशा जप करते रहते हैं वही नाम, हे कृष्णा बस. They don't even know where they are. It's very difficult to change a person when they don't know where they are. Actually, one devotee, he works in a shop, and his neighboring shop person, he told, हमेशा वो बैग लेके हरे कृष्णा करते. क्या है? हम भी chant करते हैं हमेशा. देखो, whatever I'm doing throughout the day, I'm selling things, I'm chanting Hare Krishna. Why you need that bag? So the devotee told humbly that, we chant 16 rounds every day, 108 times into 16. This many number of times 1728, I don't know. Those many number of times we chant the Hare Krishna mantra. He said, man, why you chant only that much? I chant throughout the day, he told. Right? So he told, why don't you do a thing? Tomorrow, try to count how many times you are chanting Hare Krishna. He was a sincere person, actually. He went there in his shop and he started chanting during the day. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Then whenever he remembered, he chanted. Then he came back and told, yeah, I was thinking I'm chanting all throughout the day. Hardly I'm chanting 15 times. Right? Then he told, you are really, amazing thing you are doing. You are holding a japamala and you are chanting 16 times the whole, round. So many mantras chanting. Because unknowingly people think that they are chanting. Once when Mataji told me, I am chanting 16 rounds, I believed. Then one day I went to her home. Prabhupada was chanting, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram. So Mataji, you finish your rounds? Yeah, I am still doing. So where are you doing? No, Prabhupada is chanting, I am hearing. That is not chanting. You are supposed to chant. You are supposed to chant. You can't tell that, Prabhupada is chanting, I am hearing. Our process, Prabhupada is doing. She is purifying Prabhupada. That's not the point. Right? People can get into different situations, different thought processes. Everything happens in Krishna consciousness. Right? One day, one Sai Baba devotee, one lady, and Balgo and Prabhu was teaching her. For 1 year, he told, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. She told, yes, Prabhuji understood. Then she was chanting, and Prabhuji met after 1 year. Something happened, she didn't come. Then he asked, how is your chanting? Mataji, oh, very nice, Mataji. Every day I'm chanting 16 rounds. Very nice, Mataji, you're chanting 16 rounds. Amazing. Hari bol, Hari bol, Hari bol. Then he left. Then another one day, how is your chanting? They're very nice. So Mataji, can we chant one round together? Yes. Hare Sai, Hare Rama. Don't change the mantra. Please. He is side Baba, let him be in the side. Let him not come in between. Right? Mantra is mantra. Don't change it. Right? So mantra cannot be changed. It is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Do this sincerely. Don't have to do any khichdi. No mixture. Right? Because this is a Vedic mantra. Right? Given by Swayam Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is giving it. Supreme Lord himself is giving it. And we chant it sincerely. Right? Three P's are important, right? When we chant. Position, place, posture. Right? One is pronunciation, not position. Pronunciation, place, and posture. Right? So pronunciation should be clear. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Clear pronunciation. Hare Even Krishna is thinking, whose name is he chanting this for? Like that should not happen. Should be clearly pronounced. Even if you're chanting a little fast, but chant it. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. It should be clear. The mantra should be not a different mantra. Right? I do some mistake. My wife keeps pointing me out. You have chanted 3 times Krishna. Hare Krishna. No. Hare Krishna, Krishna. So it's important that you have a very nice partner who keeps telling you what you are doing is wrong. Then nobody will tell otherwise, isn't it? But we have to tell. So mistake can happen with anyone. You become very familiar with the mantra. Right? And what is the next thing? Pronunciation, place. Choose the right place. Choose a good place to chant. You don't want to chant in a very uncomfortable place where the chanting will not work. Sometimes in that situation you have to do, you do. That's okay. But your daily practice should be, I prefer to sit in this balcony. Not looking that side, but inside. Right? Reverse. Right? But it's in the air. I just sit down there. There is Tulsi Maharani right beside. So you can go down to Tulsi Maharani, sit there and chant your rounds. So in your house also, whether it is 10 bedroom, 1 bedroom or no bedroom, find a place where you can chant peacefully. Right? So that's pronunciation, place. Third is posture. Try to sit straight, as straight as you can. Suddenly I saw some people looking. Point is sit straight. It should not be like Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna. No, that's not. That Narayan can do sitting like this. You cannot do that. Right? So sit straight and chant your rounds. And as much as possible, sit and chant. Don't walk and chant. Walking and chanting is good when you are dozing. Right? Literally, you can't sit and you are sleeping, you are feeling sleepy. Then you get up and chant. But don't make it a practice that you are walking and chanting. Right? There is one devotee. For every small work, he goes in a bus. I never understood why he does that. For every little thing, from this side of the city to the other side, he'll create a reason to go because he can't sit and chant. One person will tell, a post came to you, I'll give them. No, you stay there, I'll come there. I'll come and take the post. Even a postman calls saying, I'm bringing your post. No, you stay at the post office, I'll come. Because while going and walking, I can chant some rounds. That is not right. Don't create a reason for you not to sit and chant. The reason sometimes happens, but it should not be a reason perpetually created by you. Right? So sit down and chant. Good number of rounds. And chant at least 50% of your rounds at once in the beginning. Chant 50%. Done. I'm done. 8 rounds done. Or whatever rounds you're doing. It should be done. In a row, it should be done. Right? And if you can chant 16 rounds at a time, that's the best thing to do. Sit down and get up. You're done. You sat down. You got up means your 16 rounds are done. That's the best thing to do. Other day, Udayanand Prabhu was telling that every day is finishing his round before 7 o'clock. Like amazing. 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock, he's finishing his rounds. That's an amazing thing, So that when you finish your rounds in a day, you become very, very active throughout the day, and you're not thinking about, my woe that I have not chanted. You can do more rounds also. You can hear kirtan also. You can hear lecture also. But if you don't finish your rounds in the morning, then throughout the day you're chanting. Every round is like day of Brahma. Like, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Every 2 minutes you're removing it. Oh, I don't know. What is the longest round you chant? Anybody here? My longest round was 22 minutes. 25 minutes, something like that. Longest round on the planet. Whole day I was chanting. That round was like, Kab khatam hoga, Hare Krishna, as if new beads are produced inside. That final bead is not coming only. I don't know why. It happens like that. Hare Krishna, removing every time. Itna. Right? Ho sakta hai. Because that all happens because we are not finished the rounds in the morning. Today morning I was in VSK, Vaishnav Seva Kunj, and there is a Mataji's camp going on. I sent some videos. Did you see that?
Yes.
I only sent some videos. But what a day they were having, right? Yesterday and today. All activities and all. So all the Matajis got up at 3:30. And there was one couple, they had a small child, and I gave them a separate room. The dormitory where we have three bathrooms, I gave that one. So all the Matajis went into that dormitory and to take bath, and they had to come out. So 3:30, the child, they brought and made the child sleep beside me. I was sleeping in the other room. And the child started crying. I got up at 3:30. Done, right? So 3:30, I got up. Now what to do? So I went and on the motor. Everybody is, taking bath, and then we did Mangalarti at 5 o'clock. I couldn't attend our Mangalarti. I was there. So Mangalarti and Tulsi Arti, Narshing Arti, right? And then chanting started. It was such a wonderful morning. All Matajis, they are sitting around the cows, around the place. So more than, I think, 55 to 60 Matajis were there. Like totally filled the place. And they were nicely chanting. Girls, small girls, like one Mataji was 8th grade. Some Matajis were like graduate, some Matajis were like postgraduate, some Matajis were working. They had a mix of Matajis. And all of them, they chanted so nicely. And because of that, my rounds were better today. I could also chant nicely. So association makes a very big difference, right? It's high time we should start going to VSK. I felt, we all used to do that. So now we'll do that once in 2 months, 3 months, we will do. Where we have to come out of this rush of this life, go there on a Friday evening, Saturday, Sunday, stay there, Sunday evening, come back. Or finish the satsang, early and come back, whatever. but we should do that. Because what that does is it takes you back to track. Because we become off track very easily. We are doing things right and suddenly we go off track and off, out of track only. Right? Then going and staying with devotees, it brings us back to track. Right? So this Pandav Nirjala Ekadashi is coming on a Saturday. So how many want to chant 108 rounds? 59. Yeah, thinking 45, 52, 64. I don't know. So we'll sit here and chant. You can come to this house, right? We'll sit here. Huh? We'll do it here. Don't have to go far. Let's sit here. You know, Radha Gopi Vallabh is there. Let's sit down here and chant. You want to have some prasadam? Have, no problem. If you want to do Nirjal, do Nirjal.
5 o'clock Mangalarti will all come.
Yes, 5 o'clock Mangalarti, everybody come. We'll do Mangalarti here at 5 o'clock. If you're feeling too tired, get into a bedroom, you know, take a nap, come back, start chanting. Let us chant. Let us only chant that day. No discussion. Huh?
Saturday.
Saturday. 11th.
Saturday.
11th is Saturday. Anybody? Confirm?
Yes.
Done. Is it Nirjala Ekadashi?
Yes.
Pandav Nirjala Ekadashi?
Yes.
Yes. Are we all happy?
Yes.
Yes. So let's do it. Let's just chant. No talking. You'll come inside. You know, I'll tell Karthik Prabhu to cook something and keep. Nobody is to get into kitchen. It'll come here. We'll keep it. If somebody is feeling hungry, there are some fruits you can have. No need to show people. Just sit here in the balcony. I'll put the curtain. Go behind. Don't show me. That doesn't matter. So that's the whole point I'm trying to tell.
We have VSK. We have people in VSK.
There is another camp happening in VSK on that day, 11th and 12th. Huh? No, I'll not be there. Mataji's camp, I went there, but Prabhuji's, nobody, Mataji needs some protection, somebody needs to be there. But Prabhuji's are okay, they're fine. So there is a boys' camp happening on Saturday and Sunday. Yeah. I told them, don't do camp on Nirjala Ekadashi, that too in VSK. I warned them, but now Prabhu Chaitanya, no Prabhu will do it on. You can do it, no problem. It's difficult to fast when you're in sun, right? You sit here, it's okay, easier. If you're fasting, if you're not fasting, that's okay. But chant. Don't leave this place until you finish 108 rounds. That should be the target. I'm coming here. Even if you come 5 o'clock in the evening, finish your 108 till next day morning and go. But Trida Vrata, you should have that determination, isn't it? Okay, are you ready now?
Gate pass.
Huh?
Who are not done it, gate pass.
Okay, let's do it. Don't be morose. Don't be, like, be enthusiastic. Hari bol! Hari bol! Hari bol! Yes, let's do it. If you have not chanted 2 rounds also till now, you can still chant 108. You just sit with devotees and start chanting. Next Saturday we are chanting. Okay? Yes, Hari bol. So, here is, did I finish or did I stop in between? No, I did not finish. I stopped in between. Yeah. If one is not able to meditate, okay, let me go here. By meditation, one can be able to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead in a gradual process. In the cultivation of knowledge, where did I stop?
Real cultivation. Real position, the knowledge one can be.
Okay, let me start from the beginning. As mentioned in the previous verses, there are 2 kinds of devotional service: the way of regulative principles and the way of full attachment in love to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For those who are actually not able to follow the principles of Krishna consciousness, it is better to cultivate knowledge. Because by knowledge, one can be able to understand his real position. Yeah, here is where I stopped. Gradually, knowledge will develop to the point of meditation. By meditation, one can be able to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead by a gradual process. In the cultivation of knowledge, there are processes which make one understand that one himself is the Supreme, and that sort of meditation is preferred if only one is unable to engage in devotional service. If one is not able to meditate in such a way, then there are prescribed duties as enjoined in the Vedic literature for Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas and Shudras, which we shall find in the last chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. But in all cases, one should give up the result or fruits of labor. This means to employ the result of karma for some good cause. In summary, to reach the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the highest goal, there are 2 processes. One process by gradual development and the other process direct. Devotional service in Krishna consciousness is a direct method, and the other method involves renouncing the fruits of one's activities. If one can come to the stage of knowledge, then to the stage of meditation, then to the stage of understanding the super soul, then to the stage of Supreme Personality of Godhead, one may take either the step-by-step process or the direct path. The direct process is not possible for everyone. Therefore, the indirect process is also good. It is, however, to be understood that the indirect process is not recommended for Arjuna because he is already at the stage of loving devotional service to the Supreme Lord. It is for others who are not at this stage. For them, the gradual process of renunciation, knowledge, meditation, and realization of the super soul and Brahman should be followed. But as far as Bhagavad Gita is concerned, it is a direct method that is stressed. Everyone is advised to take to the direct method and surrender onto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. So in ISKCON, are we following the direct or indirect method? We are actually following the direct method. Even though it looks like Vaidhi Bhakti, but we are directly serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead by serving our Guru and Parampara. Right? Our focus is Ekaho Kurunandana. We are very, very clear that we want to worship Krishna and Krishna only. Right? And without any deviation, we are performing direct. So we are very fortunate. Actually, there are very less number of spiritual organizations who are recommending a direct process. They always take you around, like in a roller coaster and finally come back to the same place. But ISKCON is a place where you are only going up day after day, day after day. Because the name itself is what? International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Everything has to be Krishna conscious. That is the goal. Yeah. So I'll stop it here. Next week we'll discuss for the next 7 verses about qualities that endear one to the Supreme Lord. So any questions, doubts so far what we have discussed? Levels of surrender. So once again, what was the first? Mind and intelligence. What is the second? Following the regulative principles of Bhakti. What is the third? Work for Krishna. What is the fourth? Give up the results. What is the fifth? Knowledge of Krishna. At least get knowledge of Krishna. Right? So we all can have started, almost all of us have started. I have started at the 5th stage only. Knowledge. Once I got the knowledge, then you go to one more step. You start working or giving the results for Krishna. Then you start working for Krishna. Then you actually start following the regulative principles for Krishna. And finally, you start worshipping Krishna. Krishna alone. Right? So, I think it's about time. Prabhuji is here, so I want to have a nice kirtan. There's very nice Mridanga. We'll have, Prabhuji, if I request, can you switch off lights except that light in between? Yeah. Yeah.
They went to Guruvayur.
Oh, wow.
So they got Prashad.
Yes.
She wanted to tell the story of Guruvayur for a few minutes.
Oh, yes. Please come here. Please come here. Yes. A wonderful story. Guruvayur. I don't want to take the thrill away, because the word itself has the whole story. Is that right? Yes. You tell the story. You can narrate it. If you narrate in your own words, you can do it.
I can hear that.
Yeah, this one. Who's it? Tuesday. We'll discuss about it. Go ahead. You don't understand.
Life story of Narayana Bhattacharya and his devotion towards Lord Narayana. She male Pathur Narayana Bhattacharya is the third student of Achyuta Tisharati, who was a member of Madhava of Sangama School Group of Kerala and Narayaniyam. He was famous for his Narayaniyam and Panini, which he compiled by himself. Narayaniyam is still sung in Guruvayur till now as a prayer to the god. His father was a Pandit, that is Matru Satur. He learned Rigveda from Madhava. His first guru was his father. He learned Tarka Shastra from Damodara and learned Vyakarna, that is Sanskrit grammar, from Achyuta Tisharati. At 16, he became a Pandit and married Achyuta Tisharati's niece. And Narayana's guru was stuck with paralysis. Bhattacharya could not see his guru in pain, so by the yogic sutras and as Guru Dakshina, he took away his guru's pain. Additionally, along with all of this, he also got his guru's knowledge. This is known as Karma Vikavartana. As a result of this, Achyuta Tisharadi had been cured, but Narayana Bhattadi could not have any medicine for his disease. So he went to Guruvayur and reached Ramanujan Ichchad. He went and asked the remedy for his disease. There's a notable point here that the first Mughal emperor, Babur, had transformed his life to his son, Humayun, and taken his disease and died in 1530. In the same way, Narayana Bhattadi took his guru's disease. Both happened in 15th century, but this is unknown. After going to Guruvayur, he asked Ramanujan, the Pandit, about what is the remedy for his disease. He told that the remedy was to start from the fish. No one else could understood it except Bhattadi, that to start from the fish was to start from all the life incarnations of Krishna, from the first. So Bhattadi started writing the life incarnations of Krishna from the first in 10 dashakas. Dashakas means a group of 10 shlokas. So in this way, Bhattadi started writing the shlokas of Lord Vishnu. This he took from the 10th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. After reaching Guruvayur, he started writing one dashaka a day in presence of Lord. The refrain in every last shloka of that dashaka is a prayer to the Lord to remove his suffering. Every day he sang 10 shlokas on Guruvayurappan. Each dashaka ends with a shloka for early cure. In 100 days, he finished compositions on 28th Vrishikam, that is 27th November 1586. He finished the last dashaka, Ayur Arogya Saukam, and he was cured. The 100th one gives description of the Lord from the head to toe. And on that day, he had the vision of the Lord in the form of Venugopala Swami when he was age of 27. He lived for 106 years. He was the founder of Purva Vimansa and the Uttar Vimansa and many more. His composition of 10 dashakas was named Narayaniyam for two reasons. One, it was about the Lord Narayana himself, and the second, it was written by the Lord, not the Lord, but Narayana Bhattadi, who was another form of Vishnu. It was believed that Narayana Bhattadi was another form of Vishnu himself for the betterment of the universe. When Narayana Bhattadi was writing the shlokas, they believed that Lord Narayana was around him and enjoyed the shlokas without his knowledge. Further, he was reciting shlokas by sitting on a platform just in front of the Lord. That platform was slightly bent towards the side. Having paralysis, he could not see the God. He doubtfully asked the God whether he was listening to the shlokas or not. Then God answered that I am listening to the shlokas. God bent forward, that is, the statue bent forward, and told him that I am listening to the shlokas. Do continue. This day is celebrated as Narayaniyam Day in Guruvayur. It consists of 1400 verses from Bhagavata Purana. It portrays complete life of Lord Krishna. Believed as Narayana Bhattadi is a form of Adishesha to an objective to compile Narayaniyam for the betterment of the universe. This Narayaniyam was written with the help of direct instructions from the Guruvayurappan himself from the temple. In fact, after every chapter, in the 10th shloka, the god nodded his head in acceptance. It was thought that in later ages, when people did not have time to read through the detailed Vedas and Upanishads, they can go through the summary or the short form of all those Upanishads, that is Narayaniyam. This was the story of Narayana Bhattadi and the history behind Guruvayur.
I'm not able to remember the name Guruvayur also, how it came. Do you remember that? Have you heard that? Actually, it is between, it's a Leela between Vayudev and Brahma. The deity that is worshipped in Guruvayur temple is the deity that was worshipped by Lord Brahma himself. Lord Brahma is to worship Krishna, and that is the deity. There is a whole pastime how the deity came here, but there is a Vayudev who actually brought the deity and established it there. Maybe next class I'll tell you the pastime, or you can browse and see. That's why it's called Guru Vayur. Brought by Brahma, Brahma's deity brought by Vayudev. Something like that. But let's not speculate. So I humbly request you can switch off the lights here. Let's just chant. A little dim light. If there is any, maybe there,
Yeah.
First.
One more? Yeah, we also have cake cutting. Yeah. So please, everyone, wherever you're sitting, either you close your eyes or open your eyes. Let's just focus on the holy names of Krishna. Right? Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Rama. Hare Rama. Rama Rama. Hare Hare. Everybody lift your hands and sing. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
विष्णुपाद परमहंस प्रदिकाचार्य स्तोत्र जवान के देसी भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस प्रदिकाचार्य स्तोत्र जवान के भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर गोस्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की नमाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की प्रेम से बोलो जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की ओम श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की श्री नवदीप मायापुर धाम की पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुर धाम की पुण्य क्षेत्र वृंदावन धाम की गंगे माई की यमुने माई की भक्ति देवी की कलियुग पावन तुलसी महारानी की हरिनाम संकीर्तन की ट्रांसलेंटल बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की ट्रांसलेंटल प्रसादम डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की निताय गौर हरि प्रेमानंद all glories to the assembled devotees all glories to assembled devotees all glories to assembled devotees all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah ananta koti vaishnav vrinda ki Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So Prabhujan Mataji, thank you very much for coming here today. Just a couple of announcements. On Tuesday evening, we are having a special session being given by Gaurang Darshan Prabhu for our Satsang group. Next Tuesday, 14th. This is for the Telugu Bhagavatam circle. Supara Prabhu conducts a Telugu Bhagavatam circle and they have already reached which canto? 7th canto. So they have been reading from first canto all the way to the 7th. So Gaurang Darshan Prabhu is coming on Tuesday evening. Please block your time. He will speak in Telugu. Yeah, online. It's an online class. And next week we'll have satsang in Satya Prabhu's house. Haribol. And next Saturday is Pandav Nijal Ekadashi. In this house we are chanting 108 rounds. I encourage everybody to come. I just told it's not needed that you have to chant 108. Whatever that you can, right? Please come that day and let's target 108. But if you can do how much ever you can more than what you normally do, that itself is a great service. And not to forget, there are a lot of services that Suma Mataji is waiting for all of us to help her in serving Lord Jagannath. Please volunteer and help her help actually ourselves by serving Jagannath. Hare Krishna. So please accept the service. So you all have to sit in the same place and just make like a circle around the wall and one lane in between. So we'll serve Prasadam wherever you're sitting. Prasadam will come to you. Right? And we have a birthday cake cutting here. Where is the cake? Haribol?
Cake is here.
Yeah, please get the cake here. So it is a birthday of Sukirti. Where is Sukirti here?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah. So I'll stop this.